Hello there. Is this thing on? Well, hello there, and welcome to the second live stream on the Toys of the Way channel. This is where the stream begins, as they like to say. This is a bit of a celebration. Not only is it the first live stream in the new collection room, that's like a Toys of the Way live stream. We've also hit 8,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, which is pretty awesome, I gotta say. Never really thought, I'd get to a number like that, but I just have to say thank you to everyone who's ever watched a video, left a comment, anything like that. Your support has been really cool. It's been awesome to, just share with you guys and help build like a inspiring and creative like collecting community. So once again, thanks to everyone who's ever stopped by and just said hello. So awesome stuff here. It's also kind of crazy because it seems like it was just yesterday that we were doing a live stream on the channel and saying goodbye to the old collection room and packing that stuff up, getting it ready to jump to light speed to get to this place. And it feels like yesterday, even though it was like so much work, but wow, time flies when you're collecting and having fun. But yeah. I see we have some really awesome stuff going on in the comments already. I want to give out a shout out to some awesome people. Got Sci-Fi Dude up in here. TVC, TVC, TVC. I cannot agree with you more. We got Nicholas H. Good morning from Malaysia. Dang, man. Really appreciate you tuning in from all the way out there. Like, wow. Props, man. Who else we got? We got Zutton for President. Amazing name. Hello there. We got Bjorn. I don't even know how you say that, man. You say it all the time. But I love it. Bjorn's a great guy, always making really cool customs. And then we have my Star Wars guy. What's up, man? Great to see you here. Definitely got to give a big shout out to my Star Wars guy because he recently became a channel member. So that is awesome. And yeah, awesome, man. Really appreciate having you like be a member. By the way, amazing toy photography, always really active, doing really great shots, taking a lot of really creative and just fun photos with TVC, and recently been doing some like Black Series and TVC mesh to show some of the large gaps, if you will, in our collections. I've really been having a blast seeing you post those on Instagram, man. They're infuriating, but also pretty ridiculous to see like a giant client along with like a TVC Mando, and we're just like, yeah, where is the client? Would love to get that one into the collection. But again, man, really appreciate you. Awesome dude. If you're not following him on Instagram, please go check him out. Who else do we have in here? Dr. Jones, congratulations. Happy to be here. Awesome. Appreciate you being here, man. Another great collector in the community. Definitely check him out on Instagram. I love that you're building your own world recently with like multiple platforms for like large ships and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. I love just seeing anyone get like creative with like how they're displaying their 375 or any action figures in general. So awesome dude there. Who else do we have in the chat? We have Totally Taylor Retro Hunters. Hey mate, hope you're doing well. Thanks, man. I'm doing all right. It's Wednesday. We're midday of the week. I'm really looking forward to the weekend. I don't know about you guys, but my day job is not the most fun thing sometimes, but yeah, getting through it, and I'm definitely looking forward to the weekend. Hoping to get in here and like do a little bit more with like the shelves and stuff like that. It looks like I have done a lot of work, but in the whole actuality of it, I have so much to do. I mean, I still have to put lighting on some of these like shelves that are closer to me. I have a few things that I want to build. Specifically, you can kind of see the ATTE over there with Clone Troopers. I really want to actually build like a nice like flooring for that, just so it looks like more of a battle scene and stuff. But always in motion the collection is, and got so many things to do. But happy to be hanging out here with you guys and getting through the week. Who else do we have? We got Mile High Ground. What's up, man? Hello there. Great to see you. If you're not familiar with Mile High Ground, definitely go follow him on Instagram, part of the SWTVC team. They do great stuff here on YouTube with some live streams, lots of informative posts on Instagram when it comes to TVC and 3.75 collecting and just the history and things that we still need to get into our collections. And just he's an overall, amazing guy. Who else do we have in the chat? We have Scoot9. What up, Toys of the Way and 375 fan? What's up, man? Glad to have you here. So yeah, this episode or like live stream is going to be kind of a more chill one. I don't have like a main topic that I'm really going to go over today. I kind of more wanted to answer some questions from some channel members that are going to cover a variety of Star Wars and 375 collecting topics. So if you definitely have any questions in the chat that you want to know about like toy photography, diorama building, just like TVC in general, or even just talk about Star Wars or anything nerdy, I don't care. Put it in there, man. We're just here to hang out and have a decent time with this first live stream in the new room. But of course, we have to, talk about latest acquisitions. So I don't know what you guys been picking up recently, but of course, there's always that monsoon, Camino rain storm of just stuff falling in during like the fall season when it comes to like our pre-orders. I pretty much have gotten everything. I think I'm checked off for the list. I think Darth Vader's TIE Fighter was the last thing that came in, which was like an official release or pre-order for the year or whatever. But I've still picked up a couple more things. Most notably, these guys. I don't know if you've been seeing them at your Targets. I think it's kind of like a case-by-case scenario when it comes to like certain locations and Targets and just how they're moving their merchandise or whatever. But I got these for, I don't even know what it was, like 75% off or something. They were $12.99 each, which is nice because I would like to army build figures, especially a nice deluxe army builder like this. And $12.99 makes it feel like the old days of army building when it was a little less painful on the pocket. So I definitely picked up a total of 6 of these actually. The first couple went on pre-order or like a discount or whatever, and they were like, I think only like 15% off. So I got them for like $16 or something like that. And then I went back, just wasn't moving. And then eventually they put these at $12.99. I was like, I can't walk away from those. It's a great figure, taking it. So that was pretty cool. And then I finally got another case of the 501st Troopers from Entertainment Earth. So definitely building up my 501st ranks. And you know what? I just have to open this one on camera because I really, really like what we've been doing here with this clone mold. I don't know about you guys, but it's been a breath of fresh air to actually have a proper clone trooper in the vintage collection. And as we're moving closer to get into this Battle of Geonosis theme, and with our gunships and stuff like that, it's just everything's kind of coming together and it feels nice for, TVC. I will say that more and more that I look at my collection and I look at the skinny mold, I'm so annoyed by them just because I bought a lot of them when they gave us really cool variants like the 501st, the 332nd. I went in. I love Clone Wars, so I bought 40 of those each release, which is quite a lot of figures. And now I'm kind of like, I don't know if I need 40 because they're not that great. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I still have the 332nd like in a formation, like when Rex debuts them to Ahsoka, just because it's a lot of figures and they're just standing there anyway. So, but yeah, this mold so good, man. Fully articulated. It's just got everything you want in a figure. And now that we're going to start seeing more Jedi to accompany these, it's just going to be a really nice time to be like a prequel trilogy fan or just a collector in general that wants to upgrade their figures. So yeah, really feeling the clone mold. But that's pretty much all that I've gotten in terms of like things I've bought. I did get one more thing, which is kind of an interesting pickup. So I got an original Kenner Rancor. Now, I didn't buy this. It was gifted to me by my coworker. He's actually a really cool dude. He's very supportive of my channel and just like, Star Wars in general. He's a older fan. And, when I told him I, do a channel and I'm into like collecting modern day Star Wars figures, he's like, oh, that's awesome. I used to have, all the Kenner stuff. I remember like the Return of the Jedi ATST, the Chicken Walker. And I was like, oh, cool. So we have like conversations, daily at work where, just shooting the shit and just, catching up on stuff. And he recently told me that his like sister has become ill and she was the one who like took all the childhood toys. And I guess he's slowly been taking back his stuff, but in a sad way, he doesn't want it. And I'm like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want like a part of your childhood like that. And he was just very insistent that I take it. I think it's because he's a bit of a minimalist and he doesn't want too much clutter, which I can understand, but at the same time, I do have clutter. So he kind of forced it upon me, and I was like, you know what? I can't walk away from a Star Wars thing. I'll take it. It'll have a nice home. Don't give me too much more stuff because I don't know if I could take on a whole like Kenner collection, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, kind of a cool, interesting pickup. Is there anything you guys have picked up? Let's see. Wow, lots of questions already. So this is awesome, man. This is awesome. Appreciate that, man. It's been a lot of work, but it does feel good to come in here and hang out every once in a while too, and just it's not just a place where like I do live streams or whatever. I do actually like sit in here, work on like design work and stuff like that. It's kind of a cool place where me and my partner can also just hang out. We want to watch something on YouTube or like kind of like put a movie on and just like kind of chill. Like maybe they work on something while I like, tinker around with all these stupid plastic action figures. But yeah, man, it feels good to finally get this place like kind of comfortable and, presentable. Awesome. Awesome. That's one of my favorite ones actually. I think it was just like a really successful idea that just kind of came out of nowhere when we had that like kind of like mini beat with Return of the Jedi. And I was just thinking like, hey, I'm gonna want something to help embellish or like, really take my Endor bunker to another level. So kind of just all came together and I wanted to make it like as simple as possible so other people can do it. That's kind of like a huge thing that I'm like aiming for when I make some of these tutorials or even just problem solving ideas in my own collection room. It's like, how can I make this easy one for me so I don't like drive myself insane trying to make something, but also it'll be helpful for someone who's maybe wanting to do the same thing. So something I've always like aimed to do. So awesome. Really happy that, that worked out for you, man. What else we got? Ooh, that's a good question, man. What's the most difficult figure to make a custom with? It depends in terms of like what aspect you're finding difficult. So I think the most difficult thing about any custom is paint. And it depends if you're going to want to paint the whole figure. Because if you've ever done a custom and painted it, you know that the leg joints are just absolutely terrible to deal with when it comes to paint rubs and stuff like that. So this is not a great example, but if I were to paint that black part of his like knee right there white and like this rubs, it's just gonna always show that black. So that's very challenging. I've recently, as the TBC library becomes better and better, have been trying to think about creative ways where I can take either a similar color of plastic and bond it to like a thigh that, would blend better together. If even if I want to apply a little bit of paint. So like if it chips, it's not going to be as like apparent, but also even if it's like a brown to a brown, maybe they're a shade or two off, it kind of just works a lot better. So I don't even have to paint the hinge per se. I can paint the rest of the like knee and it will still like, not be a problem. So I think that is the most challenging thing I ever find. In terms of other difficulties when it comes to customs, it's just finding the pieces to fit together, but fortunately, they're getting better and better with every new release, and just, like, as we get into, like, more modern tooling, things, like, you know, can pop and, like, bond together much easier than some of the stuff. I will say, actually, now you reminded me, one of the worst figures to work with customs are the Luke Skywalkers that we have. I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried to mess with one of those, but for some reason, all of the upper body torsos on most of the Lukes, at least for the Jedi training one, and then the light cruiser Luke have basically a soft plastic, like, how do I explain this? If you look at the torso, it's black, right? On the release that we have, but that is actually a black outer shell that then houses like a flesh tone skin under body part. I don't know why they do it like that, but because the hard plastic doesn't really boil in water and soften up, it is like impossible to pull the arms out. I've had to like crack it, which is sometimes successful, sometimes not. Kind of went over that in that like Cobb Banff custom that I did, where I took the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, had to like basically heat it and then cool it in the freezer so that the plastic became brittle. You put a knife in that little seam and then try to like basically bang and like crack it open like a clam. So yeah, Luke Skywalkers are actually kind of annoying. And as funny as it can be sometimes, disagree with people in the community about like what we need to like update next. I do think some of the Luke Skywalkers could use a definitive update. Like the A New Hope one is now phenomenal. I love that figure. Great. Has actually, a proper upper torso you can just pop pretty easy. And yeah, I think if I had to choose a Luke that I would like to do, it would probably be like the more Return of the Jedi one, just because it can get us stuff from like Expanded Universe, Shadows of the Empire. Um, the Bespin one definitely needs an update. He looks like a goblin, so wouldn't disagree with that. But yeah, Lukes are definitely a little bit annoying. What else we got? Great question, man. When's the new room tour? When I get around to it. I'll probably do a little bit of an update. I'm just like one of those people who is like always trying to make it as best as I can. And right now the like spaceport is actually in a really good place. So I kind of want to actually do a pretty in-depth tour over there. As I mentioned earlier, on this like first shelves over here, I have a lot of lighting and still setups to even do. So maybe if I get some of that stuff taken care of, I'll do a little bit of a room tour over here. But yeah, I definitely kind of want to give like an update, like a nice slow, like let's take a look at every nook and cranny of this place. And yeah, definitely will be coming soon. TVC is the way. I agree, man. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I love that you learned so much from the tutorials. It shows. Once again, you've been doing some great stuff with your platforms and just like your own spaceport in there, showing off your ghosts and like Falcon and stuff. So really cool, man. Glad I could help. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Nicholas, haven't had anything new over here for a month. Still waiting for Han Old Ben Wave to show up. Dang, man. Do you have like an update of like when you think that's actually gonna show up in your neck of the world? Definitely good figures. I think you're gonna be pretty happy once you got them or once you get them in hand. Old Ben is really surprisingly fun. Like I was happy that we were getting like a proper Ben Kenobi, but once I had that figure in hand, definitely really, really cool. Again, my only like minor complaint with him is like the skirt does limit his like range of motion on the bottom. Like he can't do a super wide stance, but again, he wasn't like, killing it per se in A New Hope. I've seen some customs where you can use the older skirt if you want to take the figure apart and use that one just because it's a bigger skirt, so he can do a slightly wider stance. But yeah, man, hopefully they'll show up for you soon. It's a great wave. They are such amazing characters. I don't know which character you're talking about. Probably Ben and Han Solo, man. But yeah, totally agree. I had a lot of fun taking a shot recently with Han Solo and Greedo in the cantina. Nice. Yeah, there's some deals going on, huh? And I guess Black Friday is coming up soon, so definitely will be some TVC sales out there. I've been a little bit more cautious with like overspending recently. It's just been chaos, moving into a new place, setting this place up, building things, like everything comes at a cost in life. And yeah, I haven't been purchasing a ton of TVC, but I probably will pick up a few things here and there for, the sales. Nice. Pick up more, man. Pick up more stuff. Okay. Yeah. Kiadi Mundi, Young Boba, and Clone Commandos. Cool, man. Kiadi Mundi, I definitely hope is coming. With the Battle of Geonosis about to, hit, I would imagine we're gonna get that character. It would be foolish not to. Also, young Boba Fett, an update to that would be pretty cool. Are you talking about like his like Camino look? Are you talking about like him as a bounty hunter in Clone Wars? Like which one do you think you would prefer first? Answer is yes, dude. What are you talking about? There's no debate about that. $20 though. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you, man. I was kind of like thinking about this yesterday actually because I saw on Big Bad Toy Store that their MSRP for I think the Shock Troopers is still at 17. It's not 16.99 where it comes out to like an even 17. It's 17.99. So it's a little bit inflated, but it's not like the $20 that we're paying right now per figure. So I was actually about to order like four more, maybe eight more, just to like actually build those up because I only got the original four or 6 that I got with like my original pre-order, and I definitely want to have a couple more of those. But I feel you, man. $20 is definitely a little bit much. But when I did like the total math, I'm like, okay, well, it's like $15 more for about, the same quantity of figures. But it's just like in this day and age, we're all kind of like, got to save a little bit here and there. And that $15 would have been another figure. So I always look at it like that too. So answer, you will have to choose, my friend. It's like choosing between the light and the dark. Most likely, you'll probably go to the dark. Also, yeah, man. I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm hoping as we get into that Battle Genosis, they'll definitely start to crank out some stuff, just like more. Because I would imagine it's not all going to be Battle Genosis. I mean, probably a lot of it will be, but there'll probably be like some outliers where it'll be like, this is from the Clone Wars and like, just other repaints here and there since they'll have the molds in production. But I think now is probably one of the best times that they can like capitalize on that just because that clone mold is fresh. People want clones, they want Jedi, and they want this stuff, man. So yeah, definitely want to see some of those legions and variants come out. Yeah, yeah, that would be cool, man. Because that'd be like nice way to get like another Bad Batch figure out there, Clone Wars. Um, definitely be cool. I'd be cool with Um, almost any clone trooper free paint at this point. Probably not anything blue. I feel like that's always a complaint of ours. It's like no more blue Mandos or no more blue clones. I'm fine with it personally, but I think it's nice that they went and did like the shock troopers. So I think getting the Camino guards would be pretty cool. I also wouldn't mind them going back and redoing those elite guards from the Bad Batch, the guys who were just like all black, like spec ops looking. Just because that's on that VC45 mold and it's not great. I was like looking at those earlier and just like, yeah, I wouldn't mind these looking better. Hey, Riley Bob, what's up, man? You made it. Glad to see you here, dude. Great, great guy, man. Love that you're able to spend some time with us and just hang out, man. Mark's issues with Archie Comics. Hello, everyone. Well, hello there. Sorry you have issues with the comics, man. That's a fun name. Ooh, I had a feeling you'd be getting that. I had a feeling, but that's awesome, man. I am sure you're going to be pretty hyped to have another saber. How many sabers do you have in your collection total? Because I'm pretty sure you have like double digits or something like that, based on kind of what I've been noticing. But pretty cool, man. I have never gotten one yet, and seeing how tend to like lighting, you would think I have a lightsaber, but I don't know. I don't. What lightsaber should I get, guys? If I were to get like a lightsaber for my collection. Maybe maybe it won't be the first and last one, but like what would be a good first one? I personally kind of really dig Mauls from like Phantom Menace. Just something about that double blade is pretty badass. So I feel like that's what I would lean towards, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, man. He's a really nice dude. He's a really, really nice person. Maybe one of the nicest coworkers I've ever had. Just a really genuine person, really empathetic, nice guy. And I felt bad taking it. Like I said, I was like, you should really keep this. It's like your childhood thing. Like, but at the same time, I guess it's going to like a home that will care about it. So yeah, I don't know. I totally agree, man. I was really caught off guard too. I wasn't expecting that. You come into work and you don't think you're getting like a Star Wars like gift or something like that usually. Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, I've seen people do that. That usually works. For me, sometimes the 5 POA heads and just like I don't know, heads in general can be a little iffy just because they're great for building out like um whole environment and stuff like that and like my world. They're not as great sometimes for me for photography, just because like when I have that posed next to a figure with photo reel, you see the drastic difference. You're like, man, that looks like a porcelain doll, and that looks a bit more like Harrison Ford. So yeah, I'm totally here for that, but sometimes I'm like a little bit more hesitant depending on like the figure and like the quality of it, if you will. What? For free? How'd you get that for free, man? That's pretty cool. That's Hey, man, if it's free, it's for me, right? But that's a great figure, and to get it for free, pretty awesome. Yeah, again, great dude, man. He I can't say enough about him. Well, hello, Mary. Sup? You can call me Andrew or Bastin Gambling. What? All right, if you say so. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I'm a bit of a curator, if you will. I like things to look presentable, but also, I guess, organized chaos behind me. Also, just like, I don't know, as like I've gone down this collecting journey, it's cool to have figures like, just on a shelf and stuff like that. But also, it's a little bit more liberating sometimes to just have them all living in this giant microcosm back there. So, like, for example, like when we get suckered into only having like one figure from Skeleton Crew, right? He's a lot less sad to be in my world over there hanging out with like a bunch of, aliens and random things from all different properties of Star Wars and like all corners of the galaxy versus standing on a shelf alone without a single villain or other member of the Skeleton Crew. So that's kind of something that helps me remain happy and positive. It's just being able to like just dump stuff over there. Be like, all right, well, didn't get a ton of figures from that. Well, I guess they can go live over there for now until like, they have a proper display, or heck, maybe they'll just stay in the town. Maybe they like it there. Awesome, man. Cool. Glad that's going around and helping people out. I need to make a couple more like those. I actually wanted to make one for like the Peridia trees just because I thought they were really like beautiful and like quite, I don't know, majestic. Like that like dark Peridia, like cloudy night footage that they had going on, and then like the saturation of those trees that are like Japanese maples and stuff like that, or like cherry blossoms, just look really cool. And I actually found like a very kind of cheap way to do it. Like I found these trees. I'll have to share this sometime. Like I found these like I think they're for like Halloween. They're basically trees that are like a wire that then is covered in like a hard cardboard or type of like construction paper. And then they have smaller wires that go out to make the branches and stuff like that. So I found those for pretty cheap on Amazon. And I was going to like cover those in grout too, like, angle them and like just design it to look like a tree and then cover it in like either construction paper or tissue paper. I used tissue paper, I think, for my shot that I did for a couple prettier things, but I thought maybe, making some more permanent trees for like one or two of the shelves and photography would be cool. So another thing I need to get to, but I think that would be a fun one to like share with everyone too. Nice. Dang, you guys with the points. They always try to talk me into that when I go to GameStop and I like pick something up or I'm returning something. I've kind of always been like, "Nah, I'm good, man." I'm just like, I don't need another email notification or something like that. I'm just overload. Nice, cool. It's a great vehicle. I got a couple back there in the collection. I have no complaints about that thing. I mean, I guess the weathering wasn't all that or whatever, but like overall, it's just like a really nice sculpt, good ship, something fresh. While like we got the Vader's TIE fighter recently, which is actually really impressive. I just wasn't like jumping out of my seat for it at first, just because I was like, okay, another TIE fighter. We've had so many TIE fighters, but we've only had one E-Wing. And while it's like similar to X-Wing, it's still not. So awesome, man. Glad you enjoy it. Nice, man. 3 blurgs. That's the way to go. Prices are good right now. Funny enough, I can't remember what happened when that initial pre-order went down, but like Amazon, I think messed up the price or something like that. So they were like significantly cheaper and I got like 5 or something initially. So I lucked out pretty hard. Just because they were like really inexpensive. But yeah, awesome, man. A really nice beast. There's so many things that like we get and then kind of forget about, and then maybe a month later, I'm looking at my shelves. I'm like, man, the blurgs are really impressive. They're a nice beast. They're well articulated, and yeah, I mean, they were so late getting to the party, but a really, really good addition to the 375 and TVC line, man. Nice. I heard a couple people were picking those up and asking me about them in terms of like, can Shin actually sit on the howler itself? And I actually, even with the soft plastic skirt, did a test and she can sit on it. It's like her because the skirt is like bent in two pieces on the or like splits into two, front and back. You're able to like angle it over that little like camping bag on the back and stuff. And she actually can sit on the howler quite well. And when you put her feet in the stirrups, they like just hold her in position. So surprisingly can sit on that thing. I haven't really tested out Balin yet, but I imagine it would be similar. Regardless, still want to see soft goods on those two and the cloaks. That would be cool. Nice. Yep. Oh, what's up, man? Good to see you on here. Awesome. Glad you could be with us, dude. Deals all around, man. We're not even at Black Friday yet. Really? Have you had success with those older Lukes and like pulling the arm out without having to like crack open the body like a clam? I'd be curious what you did, man. Man, it's awesome. I'm glad we're really we're really rolling in here. A lot of comments going on. The new AT-AT and the Mando movie. What do you think we'll get a HasLab of it? Do I think we'll get a HasLab of it? Difficult to say. I don't know. I almost wouldn't be surprised if maybe they released the old existing one. I don't know when it comes to a HasLab of that thing. Just like it would be so big. The other one's already pretty big, and it has electronics. So, would you prefer more detail, a bit larger, no electronics, or get the older one with like really nice paint applications, kind of like they did the Smuggler's Run Falcon, and still like keep electronics? I don't know. I'm personally not like over the old one. I like the Legacy Collection mold. I think it's actually pretty decent. So, if they wanted to still use that, that'd be cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they got planned or what they would think about in terms of a HasLab or something going with the Mando movie. Right on, dude. Right on. Yeah, I agree. You could get more out of that too. You could get, other young clones and stuff like that. So that'd be cool. Ben, hello. I'm itching for some new reveals. I feel the same. It's been a little bit quiet. The only news we've gotten really is some pre-orders for some stuff that either is coming soon or some pre-orders for some stuff that we already got. But I guess we'll get to that in a couple minutes. All right. Let's move on to some of the topics for today, which while we're on that subject, I guess, let me pull up some stuff here. Let's remove that. And then so speaking of like pre-orders and news or whatever. So this is like the only thing that we've really pre-ordered to date, huh? It's the Shock T, Stranger, Padme, and then repacks of Maul, but for Shadow Lord, and then Darth Vader from Emperor's Wrath. So all great figures. They are already seeming to like kind of ship out. I think Boss Bounty has them in hand, so he'll probably be doing reviews of those soon. I think I saw TVC Datalorian also has them in hand. Hopefully, I'll get these soon too. I would love to, put these to the test, see what they can do. But all in all, they look great. Um, this is like the only pre-order thing I really have going on. And then other than that, it was these guys. So the pardon me. The Denizens 4-pack is back for pre-order, which I'm not too mad about it, to be honest. I did want to pick up more of these. I never did just because it was kind of a high price for like, those four figures. And my biggest gripe about it was they're all great for customs. And I would love some more custom fodder and stuff like that. But is he even in here? I probably didn't even include that photo because he sucks. Is Reese. Not a good figure. Swivel hips, and he really wasn't even a good swivel hip figure to begin with. And yeah, I just can't justify getting maybe like 2 more of these sets and just having him around. Like, he's just not a good figure. Sure, I could use his head and hands for something, but the base is just like not good at all. So yeah, I would love to see some more new stuff, especially, as we're getting closer to this Battle of Geonosis. I want to see some more clones. I want to see, a tease of some Jedi stuff. I would like to see maybe, a hint of a vehicle or even, some Mando stuff with that coming around the corner. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Um, what else do we have? So I wanted to move on to a little bit of like Star Wars news and just like news in general. And speaking of the Mandalorian, let's pull that up real quick. All right. So The Mandalorian and Grogu 2026. Empire did like a small preview recently where they just showed like another picture of it. And really was just like kind of John Favreau talking about like, the combination of Mando and Grogu being like, a team and just like them growing together as characters and people in the galaxy or whatever. My biggest takeaway from this was, like, okay, they're still trying to, like hype up the show a little bit. Cool. I think the poster is really fun. I don't know if you guys saw some of the trailers, like the one from Japan and even the one that they recently did. It looks fun. It looks like it's going to be, a decent time. And I think it'll be great to have Star Wars back on the big screen, especially something like The Mandalorian, which you already know is going to be a decent time. Maybe it won't be everything you wanted it to be in terms of like pushing the story along, but I feel like it's a good way to get back into the theaters and just watch something. So pretty cool, but I'm hyped to see some more Anzellans, so I can assure us or myself and maybe you guys as collectors that if we see one figure from the Mandalorian and Grogu, it should be an Anzellan because we already have a mold since they put one with the recent IG deluxe figure that we got. So I look forward to an Anzellan probably. I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if we get another Grogu, maybe in a pod or something like that. Maybe 3 Anzellans. Maybe I'm being, wishful thinking here, but hey, anything can happen. And then the AT-ATs, but I think these are slight variants. They look kind of like the ones from Rebels because the like guns are a little bit different and stuff. Once again, I don't know. I don't know what they would do here. If they would do a whole new one, probably not. If anything, they'd probably repack the AT-AT like Legacy Collection version, but like who knows if they even have the tooling left for that. I would love to get a Sigourney Weaver figure. That would be so cool. This one, unfortunately, I don't know. It looks like that's new tooling there. You should have to have her like jacket look and stuff like that. If anything, we're gonna get this one. Like that is an easy slam dunk for Hasbro. We already have, X-Wing pilots. They put that head on there and boom, at least we have that. So I can expect that from Hasbro probably. I don't know about the other version of Sigourney. And then Zeb. So this is what I kind of wanted to talk about more. Zeb should be like no excuse because they've had so much time since some of the trailers dropped to, first of all, take some of the existing parts we have from the Zeb and start to get us this figure. If we don't get that, I'm definitely going to be a little bit bummed because he's definitely going to be in the movie. He looks already like he's doing a couple action scenes, and man, if we don't get that Zeb, I'm going to be pretty bummed, especially because we actually have the Carson Tiva right there that can interact with him. That's the Carson with the jacket, the one we have. We don't even have the X-Wing pilot one yet. So, yeah, Hasbro, if you don't get us this version of Zeb for the Mandalorian and Grogu, I'll be pretty bummed. I know you're going to give us the Mandalorian, but come on, man. I need to recreate this scene right here. Got R5. I got plenty of Mandos. I got plenty of Grogus. Give me Zeb. Also, that U-Wing in the back, that'd be pretty cool too. But I don't know. Maybe one day as a HasLab. Who knows? But yeah, how you guys feeling about the Mandalorian and Grogu? Like I said, I'm pretty hyped for it. We'll see how it is. But yeah, I think it'd be good to, just have Star Wars back in the theaters. And I would just love for them to actually have product though while the thing is in theaters. I want to be able to like, either enjoy it or semi enjoy it and at least go to the store and be like, all right, I can get a figure that was part of my favorite part of the movie or something like that. So I don't know, man. I guess we'll see. Guess we'll see. That's fair, man. That squid head is actually a really good figure too. Yeah, no complaints with that one. And it's funny because it's like one of the better figures probably from that 4 pack. Just like the soft goods are nice, like the sculpt, all that like new tooling that they kit bash with existing stuff. Yeah, cool. I love that figure quite a bit. Also, nice to get some corn out there. That's true. We're gonna have a clone army of Grogu soon enough, man. But yeah, definitely hyped to actually see Zeb in live action. It's gonna be really interesting. And from that little teaser in like the trailer, he looks like he's gonna be kicking ass just like he did in Rebels. So pretty interesting. Also, I can't think of like a prominent alien character that was in a movie other than Chewbacca, really. Like I'm trying to think of the sequels. Chewbacca was like the main, sidekick alien. And then yeah, other than that, it's usually been Chewbacca. So it'll be kind of cool to get like another, main alien character out there, especially one that can like do some pretty awesome fighting and stuff like that. Oh yeah, true that. I can't wait. I'm also like, man, I've been doing a little bit of like cleaning recently just because, always emotion the collection room is. And yeah, having 3 ghosts, some things are heavy and they also take up a lot of space. And also I've been like trying to arrange and clean up my like vehicle boxes. Most of them are empty, but man, they take up a lot of space. And like they're supposed to go in my garage, but it's just kind of a mess in there and it's going to be a bit of a project, but yeah, now that I have 5 gunships coming, I'm like, "Man, what have I done?" I'm literally sitting there like Anakin, like, "What have I done?" Hey there, gummies for Grogu. Hilarious name. Hi toys. How do you do your blaster effects and lightsaber crash Photoshop? They're awesome. I do use Photoshop. So they're pretty much just like brushes for a lot of the blaster effects and stuff like that. Some of them I've found online, some I've kind of made myself. I don't really like making them because it takes a little bit of time and it's just like another thing I would prefer not to be spending time doing. The lightsaber um itself is pretty easy to do in Photoshop. It's just like some layers of like, you just paint like a white line basically and give it a glow effect of any color of your choice. But then when it comes to the clash on that, I usually use like a brush as well. So like usually recycling the same like spark and like some explosion uh effects that I have for other elements in the shot, but then I kind of warp and distort them to my own like liking to make them look a little bit different, or just kind of work with whatever the angle is of the lightsaber clash and stuff like that. And then it's just a lot of layers and like adding like different lighting and like soft light effects to it. But yeah, they're kind of fun. It's sometimes really fulfilling and like gratifying to like have like a set library of some of these like elements that I can always recycle into the next shot. So I'm not having to do it all from scratch like the first time. Kind of reminds me of like, George and some of the ILM people being like, all right, we should digitize sounds because it will save us a lot of time, or we should do this and that. It's just all part of a process of, making your art a little easier and more efficient. Good question. Do we want more TBC vehicles or creatures? If I had to choose, I don't know. It's kind of difficult because, like, I like both. Also, like, creatures technically are usually more mid-size versus like the larger vehicles. When obviously you can have small and mid-sized vehicles, but that's what kind of where I'm like, oh, would I like more blurgs and weird things like that, or would I like more speeders and ATRTs and like things of that nature? It's so hard to say. I kind of feel like I would just have to go vehicles. Yeah, vehicles are great. I still think there's a lot that they can do. There are a lot that they should update. I was actually thinking recently, like with us getting into like more prequel stuff, it'd be cool to have a really nice proper Jedi starfighter. Um, I was looking at like the Clone Wars Ahsoka one. It is kind of hard to find. Also a little bit expensive, and I was just like, dang, okay. And like while they were pretty good for the time, it'd just be nice to see them take the level of quality and things that they're doing, like the Darth Vader's TIE fighter and these like almost studio prop type of things and apply it to like a vehicle like that. So I think that'd be cool. So I think we'd have to go TVC vehicles, man. Speaking of GameStop, what's up with this? Trade in anything for store credit day. What? Really? Is that a thing? I've never heard of that. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Like, what if you just show up with like that's a little too broad. Like, you just show up with like, "Hey man, do you want this bubble?" I would love that brand new helmet over there or like that saber. It's a good deal for you, GameStop. Really appreciate Mr. Stevie posting the full list of TVC figures broken down per movie. That said, it really showed off what we're missing. Skeleton Crew was really sad. Yeah, man, I saw that. That was really cool. I liked him kind of like mixing it up a bit, not just having like a figure checklist by like VC number and stuff, and actually seeing it per like Star Wars property was really interesting. Skeleton Crew, sad, very sad. I can't even speak to that. Like poor Jod, man. Will he ever find a home? Will he ever have friends? I don't know. He's gonna be that dude like eating lunch by himself in like high school, just like under the stairwell by the gym. Just like, yeah, here's my Pop Tart, my lonely self. Such is life. But yeah, it was really interesting to see. It's also something to note, like if you take a look at some of those things, like the prequel trilogy stuff, how many of them are just like TVC 1.0 and like older like figures, which are cool for the time. They're great to have in a collection. Some of them stand up just because they're like, you know, very obscure backgrounders or whatever, but man, some of those mains and just like there's just so much that we need to update. And that's just unfortunately always been the lead boot that we have had in TVC and 375. It's not that we're like bitter or complaining that like other lines get stuff or like, it's just like we have such a history, but because of that, we also have things that are old. So it's like, yeah, the 93 Civic was great, but it doesn't look as great as a 2025 Civic or a Mustang or something like that. I mean, maybe Mustang might be different because classic cars or whatever, but you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, I think that was my biggest takeaway, taking a look at some of that stuff and being like, oof, some of that stuff is old, man. But yeah, it's cool that he's always, trying to put things in perspective and just show different creative ways of looking at it too as a whole. Yeah, man. Can't say enough about that poor Skeleton Crew. I think that's maybe one of the biggest TVC blunders now. Other than like certain things when it comes to like, not having a client or whatever, man, Skeleton Crew is sad. How do you get one figure? And to be fair, at a certain point, the Bad Batch was pretty much like that. Now, they had other releases with Hunter, but he didn't have his crew. Like, okay, he can be with this Rex. Sure, cool. Where are the rest of the dudes or like the Elite Squad Troopers? All of which are like on bad VC-45 molds, but like Skeleton Crew, man. Oh, I don't know. I don't know who made that choice to just give us one figure, but pretty sad. It would have been nice if we got, at least one other. Shout out to Neil. Shout out to Neil. I have seen those, and I've never watched Stranger Things. It's not something I've really dived into, but pretty cool. Yeah, I think those would be fun for world building for sure. Any kind of like, creature and stuff like that definitely fits in the world. I also, going to Target have been seeing like those displays and that is cool to see, a property have like a nice display. I'm curious if they'll do anything like that for like Mandalorian and Grogu when it gets closer to theaters and stuff like that. I would hope so. Like Star Wars is all about product and just like good marketing and being like the exposure, like yeah, if you are a kid and you see Mandalorian and Grogu stuff and the movie's on and you just happen to go with your family and see that stuff, it's all gonna click where you're like, "Yeah, I want some stuff, man." Which is how you build, community and like new collectors getting into this hobby or just like this fandom. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. He actually has a pretty cool saber, and I would have to say that Evan Mile would probably be like, "Yeah, dude, you definitely need that one." I would put money on that. Tell me about it. I'm hoping that's one of the next reveals that we'll see sometime soon. because it's been like, kind of rumored that we might see, another character or two, but be nice to just be like, yes, you're finally getting those. You guys can kind of relax. Although I don't think I'll relax until I know that we're having all of them. Could you imagine if we got everyone except like Tech? And we're just like for the next couple of years, like, hey, where's Tech? Shout out to the only dude who died and was also really amazing and probably could have taken down the Empire by himself, but you won't get him. No, I kid. I would hope they just knock them all out at once, but we shall see. What do you think of this as a 3.75 line? Photoreal figures with TVC proportions close to 5 POA, but with each of those articulation points being the best possible. Bar hips, hinged arms. Interesting. I have to read that again. Photoreal figures with TVC proportions. Okay. Closer to 5 POA, I guess, is what you're saying, but with each of those articulation points being the best possible. Okay. Um, so it'd be similar, I guess, to like Hammond collection stuff where you have, the really nice Hammond collection, which are more collector grade. And then I'm not super familiar with like their non-collector lines. I only pick up the Hammond collection stuff because I think it's much more superior. But I could see that being something that people would want, but as a whole, I don't know. Also, like, I just fear that it would be like, why wouldn't they put that kind of investment into giving us more TVC figures and stuff like that versus say you get a character only released in that line and then they're like, that's good enough. Or like the fear with like, what was it, Epic Heroes that like you get that character, like who you'll get the Skeleton Crew, but as Epic Heroes or whatever dumbed down line it would be. I just don't want that kind of possibility. But I feel like it would be maybe a little bit chiller with like Beast or something like that, or like vehicles. But at the same time, I like the nice quality that we're seeing in TVC, like the collector grade. But it is challenging, like, that we want to get more stuff, and maybe this could be a possibility for them to get people more stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Difficult to see, as they would say. All right. I guess let's move on to a little bit more news. Another thing I actually kind of wanted to talk about was get this out here real quick. I got to give props to Evan Mile High, man. I don't know how he'd be dealing with all these screens. There's so many screens. Okay. The Lucas Museum. I'm pretty excited about this, and I know it was a question that some of my channel members were kind of asking about too, in terms of like me going to LA for celebration and stuff, and we'll get to that. But man, pretty excited about this. It looks super, super cool. I mean, let me put this on the full screen. How do I do that? Well, I guess that's as big as it got. All right. But yeah, man, it just looks so cool because it kind of reminds me of a ship, first of all. It kind of looks like that like Home One mixed with like a bit of like the Naboo Royal like starship. It's just like really, really cool. Also, just love the architecture and just like what is going on here with all like the foliage and stuff on top of it. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a fan of art and I'm really excited to go to something like this. Like, I think it looks really amazing. And obviously, it's George Lucas. So, why would I not be excited about something that he's working on in terms of like art? Also, just like the architecture itself in here, it's just like kind of crazy, man. Like, just like, yeah, I don't know. It's quite an impressive like feat. Oops, I don't know why that went back. There we go. It's just like really impressive that they're getting something like this kind of built. And yeah, I think it looks quite stunning. Also, you can see, let me zoom in on that real quick. Like the N1 Starfighter there, which is really cool because they're supposed to have an N1, a land speeder, and then Grievous's like little wheel bike speeder thing that he like runs away on in Revenge of the Sith. And yeah, man, this is just like really impressive stuff. So I'm pretty excited to actually visit this. I've actually never been to LA, so lots of exciting things coming to LA. So yeah, I don't know. Are any of you guys planning to go to this once it like opens up? It just looks really impressive and just yeah. Also, To be able to see like a land speeder in person, pretty cool. The Naboo Starfighter, man, can't get enough of that thing. Look at that sleek, amazing design. Yeah, definitely excited to go to this. Is anyone planning to go to it? And we're back. Okay. Yeah, like I said, really excited to go to that. And then whoop, bear with me there. What's up, Findor Moon? Glad to have you here, man. Findor Moon, another great guy. If you don't follow him on Instagram, definitely go follow him. Lots of toy photography, very active person in the community, big supporter of 375. Glad to have you here, man. Let's see what job. Riley Bob, what? Bro, do yourself a favor and watch Stranger Things. If you grew up on Spielberg sci-fi, you'll love it. Interesting. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I've heard a lot about it. Seems like a pretty popular show. So yeah, I mean, I'm always a fan of creatures and beasts and stuff like that. And I do like Spielberg, so I'll probably be into it. Nice. They would be a good dream team, I feel like. Like you got that smuggler who can like help out with now like the New Republic, shaking down people and stuff. I don't know. That's pretty cool, man. I like that creativity there. It would be nice to get large TVC creatures from Hasbro Pulse. So I think if they were to do a large creature, obviously a Rancor, but like the 375 Rancor, taking like maybe the sculpt from the failed Black Series one could be cool. I just think that's the easiest safe bet for a starting Pulse exclusive creature if I had to go that route. But yeah, I think for a slightly smaller beast, like they did with because the Bantha was exclusive, I believe. I can't recall. Let me know in the chat if that one was exclusive to Pulse, but did pretty well. Sold out. I'm actually really happy with them. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if like maybe we see a Dewback as well as like a TVC creature. But in terms of something larger, I think the Rancor would be pretty pretty safe. Pretty sure you asked a question, sci-fi dude, for the members chat about Beast, and I'm pretty sure you asked about the Zillow Beast, and I think that would be pretty badass personally. Would a lot of people be excited about Zillow Beast? I don't know. I think it would be cool. I think Clone Wars people would be pretty excited about it, but yeah, Zillow Beast would be pretty rad. I also actually kind of want to see those spiders from Mando, just because they're in like Rebels, and there was never like an official release of those. They had that like Disney one, but it kind of looked cheap to me, so that's why I kind of held off on it, and I only stuck with like the ones that came with that deluxe Mando. But yeah, man, Beasts are always cool. I'm always here for that. It was not a reference, but hey, man, it was a good year. What's up, man? Blitz Transmissions in the house. Glad to have you here, dude. It should be a crime to look this good. What can I say? Just a simple nerd making his way through his collection room of junk. But awesome. Glad to have you here, man. If you guys aren't following Blitz Transmissions on YouTube, Instagram, great dude, big clone fanatic. He's currently doing a Black Series Most Wanted um campaign similar to like TVC March Madness. So trying to, get that community organized over there in terms of like stuff that they want to see. But yeah, man, awesome dude. Big fan of, clones. And he's actually been diving into a lot of TVC army building recently. So he's given people like Tyler a run for their money. And man, I got to catch up to you. I've been seeing you build up your shock troopers and stuff like that. So I got to get ready for my lats too, man. And also, shout out if you want a lat hat, this dude, he can get you lat hats. Go check out some of his live streams. He's sporting this pretty awesome lat hat. If you're not familiar or not hip to it, go check it out. You'll see about the lat hat. Dewback. Yeah. Honestly, we need a Dewback. I think it's one of the next like safe bets to like think that like that's one that'll go back and like redo proper it was obviously in the original Star Wars. It's present in like the Mandalorian. You see it in Clone Wars. You see it everywhere, man. It's a good beast to get back out there. And if they do one, they can kind of like do it in a certain color scheme. I feel like it would be closer to that like dark green that they did for like the Black Series one, but then they could even do like slight variants like in the Mandalorian. If you notice it, it's a bit more brown there. I think that would be cool, doing different variant colors of them because like, you know, it's a creature out there. There's gonna be variants of it. Not everything's a clone. So yeah, I think that'd be a cool one to get into the line, man. Definitely do back. Oh man, Riley Bob, thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. You are such a supportive dude in general when it comes to just like me, other, 375 channels. You are absolutely awesome, dude. Love 375 scale. And with Hasbro pushing more into the scale, I think it will help Joy Toy and Toys Alliance up their 375 game and get more licenses. I think so too. I think it's an interesting time, especially considering Hasbro right now has kind of launched that like Hasbro 375 initiative. I know the Tron, HasLab or whatever isn't doing necessarily great. I personally am not like a huge Tron fan. I never really even watched it. So like it's not something I got excited about. I am excited that they're doing more 375 figures. I'm excited that those figures looked pretty amazing. Their articulation looked great. There are some things that make me a little annoyed, like female figures having hinge wrists, and then we're not getting that in like mainline TVC, but I digress. But yeah, I think, as the 375 scale continues to grow, it's becoming a bit more appealing to people. And Joy Toy, Toy Alliance, Haya Toys, even like they do great stuff. And I think it's nice to have more lines that are offering things for people. Joy Toy is really great. I bought a lot of their stuff for like, building like my town back there. And like they have great mechanic like figures and stuff like that. You could pop off their head, put like a Rhodian head on them and stuff like that. So yeah, I love seeing it all. I love seeing 375 grow in general, just because it'll help everyone kind of like, finesse their collections in certain ways. And to be honest, 375 was always what I've always like just loved as a kid and into my adulthood. And yeah, 375 is the way, man. But yeah, I'll be curious to see how the 375 like campaign continues and just like helps that overall like scale. Oh, nice. Yeah. Some people have been telling me too to like pick up some of those Warhammer toys. And I know Warhammer is like, a bit of a thing that people are like pretty crazy about. I think some of the designs are really cool. I've never dived into any of that lore and stuff, but those figures look cool. Space Marine is it's pretty awesome. It's like, I don't know. Since I'm not hip to like Warhammer, I look at it as like a clone commando almost, where I'm like, all right, that guy's like a beefy like dude is just gonna go in there and like cause havoc. So yeah, I might check one of those out. I haven't bought in some Joy Toy in a while, but yeah, they look cool. Dewback with the barbell hips Stormtrooper would be a great release. You know what? That's a really good point, man. I know a lot of people at this certain, time are getting a little fed up with these not as good hips. And like you can do the stuff, but they're just not as good as say this guy. Just real fluid, no problems. Where you have to like, you guys already know you got to turn this certain way, and just it's a little bit frustrating. You can get things done, but I think if they did that, that would be pretty cool. I also would like to see two more things. One, he's supposed to have those black ammo pouches on the side of his belt. I would love to see that. I would also like to see the shin armor updated to be a little bit more accurate, as you saw in the movie, because it's different. But yeah, I think they actually snuck that in and like hid that tooling cost with that like release of a new dewback. I think that'd be smart because then you could use that tooling to actually standardize all the stormtroopers with barbell hips, and I think it would make a lot of people happy. So that's an excellent idea, man. Absolutely. I think a lot of people have been pretty vocal about getting a TVC Clone Commando. I know that a lot of people have also said they don't want what happened to the Black Series to use the non beefier like body base for it and not just use TVC Hunter as our clone commando. It needs to be an all new, much more accurate to the proportions of a clone, TVC clone commando. But yeah, I think that would be a good one to do. Again, repaint it all day. So many different releases you could do. I would definitely buy a bunch. I know, man. You got a clone problem, and you're getting clones in both scales, so you got a real clone problem. But totally agree with you, man. I mean, I'm here for any and all clones, to be honest. I actually kind of want to see them start doing a little bit more of the like personalized clones. So like Tup, like different characters like that. Hard case. Yeah, just like things that are a little bit more unique. And yeah, I think that'd be cool to continue to build out some of that Clone Wars stuff. We got, Waxer, but I wouldn't mind seeing Boyle. I wouldn't mind seeing them in their phase ones as well. I was actually rewatching those episodes the other day, Innocence on Ryloth, and yeah, I want to see some more phase ones too. I mean, all we've gotten so far is the Ahsoka flashback 501st version, but I want to see a phase one Rex. I want to see a phase one Cody. I want to see some more of that stuff, man. Peak Obi-Wan, what's up, dude? Peak Obi-Wan's a great dude as well. If you don't follow him on Instagram, go check him out. Really awesome customs. I still have a bunch of Clone Wars customs that he sent me. Really, really generous person. I need to paint those up and add them to the Spaceport diorama, man. But yeah, awesome dude. Definitely check him out. And glad to have you here, man. 4 pack of the Bad Batch. It'd be nice to just knock it all out at once, right? I would also like once we get like the main looks of the Bad Batch, if they did like some kind of 4 pack or whatever to like get them out in their season 2 looks, like that'd be cool. Definitely a lot to do still with the Bad Batch. Yeah, I won't even go into it. One more thing to note, Admiral Rampart. That was such an easy figure to do. We have an Imperial officer. Yet we don't have Rampart. Why? I don't know. Just, TVC, Hasbro things. Oh, that'd be cool. TVC box set of Domino Squad. Yeah. And like, yeah, seeing them in like a modern, sculpt and definitive, that'd be pretty rad. Growing up with three Clone Wars and being the Clone Wars being my Star Wars, even more so the prequel movies, I am obsessed with them. Everything you're saying right now would be amazing additions to the line. Thanks, man. Yeah, the micro series, the actual Clone Wars, all of it, so good. There's so much that they can go back and just redo. We got gunships coming off the line, and to be honest, like I feel like the gunship is really what set off a lot of that stuff. Those original gunships and people getting them, and then slowly getting more of these original releases into their collections was just like a really magical time for some people, and to get them updated to an actual collector level grade for TVC would just be pretty cool. So excited to see where we're going to go with all this gunship stuff, man. True that. True that. Yeah, I know people complain sometimes when it comes to like trooper repaints and getting like a little bit of fatigue, but troopers are like the bread and butter. They use that term a lot, but like, hey man, once you have a trooper and you can kind of repaint it, and people are always going to buy at least 1 to 5 or something like that. Some of us buying 1 to 50 or whatever because we're insane. Like it helps the line. It really does. Definitely swappable heads. No soft plastic helmets, which kind of sucks because Crosshair has that proper helmet and then Hunter doesn't. I never want to see like a repack or whatever. Sometimes they're a little bit frustrating, but Hunter needs a proper helmet, man. I don't know how they could sneak it back in and just be like, here's a proper swappable head for him. But I think it would be appreciated because it's going to suck if he's the only one with a bobblehead and the rest of the crew is looking good. It's like, come on, Hasbro. You had the guy sit around for like a decade waiting for the rest of the Clone Force 99, and then he's got to live out his days with a bobblehead. That kind of sucks. Yes, yes. Those would be cool, man. Those would be really cool. Those 501st Jet Trooper, I mean, that'd be such a good one to get. We have like the jetpacks. All they got to do is standardize the back of these to have, the insert peg space, and then good to go. That's an easy one. That would be really cool too, man. Really, really cool. I love Rebels, huge Rebels fan. Also, just seeing the clones become older and like, a little bit crazy and senile, but still like pretty badass. Yeah, man, I'm here for it. And as a matter of fact, Old Man Rex has been on my top 25 for March Madness for a couple of years now, and he's definitely still going to be on there. Now that we've gotten a couple more things out of the way, thinking about putting Wolf and Gregor on there. Gregor would be such a funny figure just because, like, him in that tank top is so ridiculous. It's like, man, Gregor's story in general is just hilarious. Dude was a badass clone commando, gets amnesia. It's basically like a busboy. Remembers how badass he is, has a badass finale. It's just like, I'll take on everyone by myself. Then you don't see him again until he's in the in Rebels, and he's just like insane. He's got that tank top. Then he perishes, unfortunately. So sad. I love Gregor, man. He brings a smile to my face. Heck yeah. Buy it all. We need a good TVC Y Wing. A lot of people really, really want a good Y Wing. I am not super bummed on our Y Wing. I would definitely take a better one. I just don't know if they would make it. Here's the thing. I don't want it to be too big. I think the Clone Wars Y Wing is a really nice size and it's bigger than the original trilogy, like, Y Wing standard one that we know and love. But if they made it around that size, it'd be okay. But anything bigger than that would be a little bit, because then it's like, okay, then I got to redo my X Wings. And it's like, I already have a nice X Wing fleet. So I don't know. I don't know. But I think a good TVC Y Wing is kind of needed. I mean, yeah, that mold's pretty old. At least if they're going to do one, it needs to be, or like if they're going to re release that same mold again or just be settled on it, they need to deck it out with really nice paint applications. Maybe add an update or two to it to make it a little bit more collector, like the landing struts or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's ways they can use, probably not the Clone Wars one, but I don't know. I do like that Y Wing quite a bit. And once I had that, after I had the original trilogy ones, I was like, wow, this Y Wing is kind of nicer. But it's also heavy. I don't know if any of you guys have that one. It's a heavy, beefy ship. It's like a mid-sized ship, but it feels like picking up the Falcon. Again, in case Hasbro is listening, please no Hunter reuse the Clone Commandos. Must be all new sculpt from the ground up with no animated designs. I hear you, man, and I know a lot of people are really, really not feeling. And you know what? I think they've heard. I'm pretty sure they've heard. It was a lot of us were very vocal in comments, like on SWTVC's posts and stuff like that, and just on certain like reveal pages and stuff. So I think they get it. I think they get it. Also, I'm pretty sure the Black Series community was ripping that figure. I don't follow, Black Series huge, but I feel like I saw a couple comments where people were just like not feeling their clone commandos. So I think they're aware. I think it's just one of those ones where they're, kind of leveraging, is this the right time to pump all this new tooling into that versus doing other things? But yeah, I would not be surprised if a Clone Commando is going to be coming, especially as we move closer into some more prequel trilogy stuff and the Battle of Geonosis. So fingers crossed, just be like, vocal but constructive in the comments, just reminding them that we need a proper Clone Commando and not to get into the hunter pool and try to take some of that tooling. Oh man. He kind of does look like a Funko Pop. No lie. My man, he looks a little rough. A little rough. He looks better without the helmet on, which is usually how I have him displayed, but I can't always take a shot of him without his helmet, man. He's gonna catch a blaster shot to the head or something. I got two of the Go Phase 1 Clone 4 packs, and the helmets are so bad. Yeah, they're not great. Also the Attack of the Clones release, single carded, that was not great either because you could, like, see the chin underneath the helmet. For that particular release, I actually popped off all the clone portraits, put them in a baggie for safekeeping, and then filled the actual Phase 1 helmet with, like, sticky tack, so then you could just put it on the peg, and it actually was kind of like a faux swappable head, if you will, and you didn't see any more chin, and it kind of, like, formed the helmet to be, not, distorted or anything or, like, smushed together. But, yeah, I hear you. Well, they do have now a proper like phase one helmet too with that Ahsoka clone trooper release and the pilots that are coming with the lat. So hopefully we'll start seeing some better phase one clone trooper 4 packs. True. Where are the clone trooper deluxe packs? I don't know, but if you go over to SWTVC's Instagram page, they recently shared some really nice community um how do you call these mock-ups for like deluxe figures, and pretty awesome stuff. Like they had a deluxe for Rex where he came with multiple hands, like pointing hands and just like hand signals. He came with the jetpack that you saw Clone Wars, came with a bunch of extra blaster rifles and stuff like that. They had a 501st in there with a heavy gunner, like really good stuff. That's something I definitely want to see. Similar to, this, maybe with a couple more accessories in there for clones. I think that would be pretty awesome. But if they do put it on a bubble, make sure you're not doing this card, which I'm pretty sure they're not doing these anymore. But yeah, I would be here for some nice clones. Also, like I've always loved the old Legacy collection and like some of those lines where we got the little like cardboard locker in there with a bunch of blaster rifles and stuff. I miss those armory packs. They were cool ways to just get extra blasters and stuff like that. Also made you feel like you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. And if Hasbro wanted to do something like that, even if it's like, I don't know, baggy in the bubble or something like that, that's like the same color as like the back pill or something like that. So it's kind of like hidden in there. I'd be here for some more blasters, man. Just shove them in there. They don't need to be painted. As long as they're like the nice black plastic, I'm cool with it. I'm here for you. Toys are the way. Blitz Transmission said I had to. Well, thanks, Tommy, for bringing on some more people. Hybrid Toy Reviews, happy to have you here, man. Thanks a bunch. I know we're just a bunch of nerds hanging out and having a good time. But yeah, let's get back to some more of the stream topics real quick. Let me get this screen out of here. All right. I did want to kind of touch on a few things here when it comes to the channel members because they had some questions and I kind of wanted to answer some of these. We've kind of been touching on some of those topics, but I definitely, want to give a shout out to my channel members. So let's pull this up real quick. All right. All right. So question one comes from Riley Bob, and this will be 4 questions from him. Awesome dude, really supportive of the channel. Question one: pieces you use or from hold on, gather from for custom figures and dios to expand your world of 375. Really good question, man. Mostly what I pick and choose from is anytime there's sales and stuff like that. I'm always randomly picking up extra stuff. As you can see, I got more army builders, but basically always filling up stuff like this. This is just full of all sorts of different stuff, and like people like Bjorn would probably know, where like you're just popping figures left and right, but you're not going to use every single one. Like I'm keeping all these cloaks. Some of these are like from the Attack of the Clones Anakin. I just keep these because they're like good material, so I can make scarves out of this stuff later if I need to. I mostly bought a bunch of those because I was popping his legs off because that torso pin actually fits with a lot of older Jabba's goons, so you can actually give them ball jointed hips. They're cruder, older style, but it was a nice update that I was sharing on some of my videos. But I don't know, I just have so many things in here. Like this is an OSHA figure with that Cassian jacket, soon to be maybe a custom of something someday. I don't know. It's always just lots of bits and pieces in here from all sorts of things. Or even as like we retire certain figures, like this atrocious A New Hope Luke, who clearly has been replaced by a far superior being. One day, I don't know, maybe I'll use his legs for something. I don't know. Just always keeping this kind of stuff, but trying to keep it somewhat organized again with the organized confusion. But then when it comes to like dios and stuff like that, I'm always just picking up like random stuff, but at the same time, I'm trying not to be like a pack rat and just have tons and tons of clutter. So I'm kind of selective now. Most of the stuff that I gather for dios is usually material. So like as some of you guys might know, when it comes to like my builds, a lot of it's done out of foam. So I'll pick up foam from the store, but I will try to snag stuff from work if I see like a bunch of foam just sitting around because obviously they're just going to throw it away. And that stuff's terrible for the environment. It's not going to break down, but if I can take it home and make something out of it, I will. So, like for example, this was a bunch of just like that white packing foam, which you can see here on the bottom. It's just like, or actually, this is the gray stuff or the pink stuff. But I did make a bunch of these too for the ghost diorama that I did out of the like white stuff. And again, I just took something that was going to go in the trash, covered it in grout. This is just really cheap brush bristles off of Amazon, like painting brushes. I think I got a set of 10 for like $5 or something like that, maybe even cheaper than that. And usually, people use paintbrushes and then eventually throw them away. But I'm making it into something that's going to be in my collection for years to come. Something else, like always random stuff. So as I've been like cleaning out my family homes and stuff like that, and just like, get into those attic spaces, I find like weird old things that we used to have as kids. These little pieces are actually from like a race car set. This is like parked to like a bridge. So I don't need that race car set anymore, but I thought these would be pretty cool to like hang on the ceiling of like a hangar or something when the ghost get or not the ghost, the gunship gets here. So I thought this would be an interesting thing to put up there. So anything weird, little plastic stuff like that is always nice to keep around. This literally just a door handle or like a handle for like a cabinetry or stuff like this. But I've used this for my spaceport in the background for like guardrails on the landing platform so you don't fall over and kill yourself. That'd be you're not getting any money from the Galactic Empire when it comes to, your insurance and stuff like that. So just always random bits and junk like that. Same thing with like those plastic twist ties that used to be very prominent on like older toys and stuff like that. I found like a bantha one time, like an old Power of the Force bantha. It was like in the family home. I was like, why is this here? No one ever gave it to me. So opened it up, and that thing and like all older Star Wars stuff always had these clear twist ties. And I always keep these things because one, they're kind of handy in the household in general, but two, you don't see them that often anymore. And three, they're really, really helpful when you're like connecting Greeblies. So like you can always take this stuff, bend it, shape it to whatever form you need on the wall or whatever, and like string it along. And then you can easily paint them too. And then you have wiring for your Greeblies or like electrical boxes and just weird stuff like that. So yeah, man, just always like random stuff that you see around. Try to like pick it up, save it, but try not to be a total like pack rat. This is one last thing I'll show. I saw this in IKEA one day and I was like, wow, that'd be really cool for like some toy photography. If you're like shooting it from a certain angle, it should look like a giant bush or like, fix that like, some trooper or somebody's trying to get through. Or I could use this for like Endor and stuff like that. So yeah, man, just any random stuff you ever see out there in the world can be your next creation. But moving on. Question 2. How do you think the landscape of TVC collecting will go in the near future with rising costs and getting the scrapes of Hasbro Star Wars? And I do have a response for this. It's going to take a second. Bear with me. But I do have a response for this, which I thought would be appropriate. So let me pull it up here. Bear with me. Because I think this sums up a lot of things in life. I don't know if you guys could hear that. I hope you could, but difficult to see. Always emotion, man. When it comes to the landscape of TVC collecting right now and those rising costs, it's annoying at like, at face value, the sticker shock and stuff like that. But like I was saying earlier, when Evan was asking about should he buy those $20 clone troopers that are currently at Walmart, If you do the math sometimes, like what it costs to get, eight clone troopers now versus what it did when they were like $17, it is like a $15 increase. I don't know the exact math, I can't remember, but it's basically like you're getting one less figure, which if you step back and look at it, like one less figure isn't a crazy concept. It's just crazy that it does cost like, $15 or whatever to get a figure. So I think, TVC is going to be fine. It's just like it is a little challenging for people sometimes to justify these things. Like I mentioned earlier too, like I've been a little bit more selective with, my spending just because life is challenging. Things are expensive in general. I shouldn't maybe spend all my money right this second on pieces of plastic. But I think it's going to be fine just because the quality has never been better. It's continuing to get better. I'm always going to support the line. And even if I'm not going to buy like, 40 clone troopers out the gate, I will always buy at least eight. Always will support the line, try to build a small army. And then, yeah, sure, I'm going to take advantages of, sales down the line and buy like, another 20 of them or something like that if it's in my financial budget. But yeah, I don't know. I think the rising costs are definitely something that people are always concerned about. I don't want them to go up anymore for sure. It's not like we're getting any more Imperial credits ourselves. So yeah, I don't know. It's challenging, but I think the future is still bright for TVC with the quality and just the team is being very attentive to what people want. As if you're original trilogy person, you're a prequel trilogy, or you love it all, they're trying their best to gauge, what we want and to make everyone happy and not, I don't know, just waste everyone's time. Question 3. Can 6-inch and 375 ever come to common footing for collecting? Absolutely not. What are you talking about? No, man. I think so. I think, it's been challenging just because, like, both sides of the camp feel, 6-inch collectors feel they don't have certain characters that we have from, years past of all these aliens and stuff like that. Meanwhile, there's a lot of TVC collectors who are bummed that we haven't gotten updates to things in like 20 years. We're using 20-year-old Chewbacca parts or, just stuff like that. That's just like, my goodness, come on, Hasbro, help us out here a little bit. Or, things where we're getting incomplete crews. But I think the team's doing their best to see what both sides of the collecting community want, just so at the end of the day, everybody here wants to do better and just like be happier. It's just customer service and like I don't know, they're going to do their best to try to make both teams like happy. Now, will both sides of the camp in terms of the collecting community ever be friends? I think so. I don't have anything against 6-inch collectors. Actually, I think some of them are absolutely phenomenal people. Blitz Transmission collects both. He's an amazing dude. I never would have met him if he wasn't so hyped about the gunship. And there's things that we can all find common ground on and just be, cool and supportive of each other, man. And I'm safe to say that he's a great dude and I can call him a friend. There's people, in the TVC community who collect both, yeah, I think we can all find some common ground because at the end of the day, we all love Star Wars. We all like our plastic addiction. And I just want to enjoy what plastic stuff I'm interested in. I'm sure 6-inch collectors feel the same. So, yeah, I think we can. In question 4, I was thinking about this one, man. And yeah, I do have a regret. I do have a regret for you. So, there's not much that I kind of regret because I try to be like Hu Yang, the past is the past, move forward. But I do have one thing that always hurt. And it was this figure. Some of you guys might be familiar with it. It was a great figure. Awesome one. Came with a Camtono, bunch of little Beskar pieces. It was kind of a pain to get because it's Walmart. So there was, the whole fiasco of trying to order it. It was out of stock, all that stuff. Who knows if you'll get it? I don't know. We don't need to go down memory lane. But my regret with this one was I got it. I was really excited about it. And I only got one. I was only able to get like one just because it was Walmart. And I got the one, had it opened. I was having a good time with it. I thought it was so cool. The Camtono could open, could put the Beskar pieces inside. And I was like, oh, I should leave the Beskar piece inside because it came with the blocks, like the stack, but also came with one little piece. And I left them all in that Camtono because I thought it was a secure Camtono. Little did I know the top holder part of the Camtono actually had a hole that goes into the main chamber. I didn't know this. I didn't realize it. I didn't put two and two together. And unfortunately, I don't know what I did. I must have like knocked it over on the kitchen table or something like that, or the dining room table. And I think that one tiny piece of Beskar somehow, like Luke shooting those proton torpedoes down the Death Star chamber, found its way out through that little hole. And I think it bounced somewhere onto like the carpet or something like that. And a week or two went by and I was like, where is that thing? And I was like, oh no, must have fallen out. And it definitely got vacuumed and then emptied into the trash. So it was a sad day. It was a sad day. And as you can see, I have this one still nice and pretty minty carded because eventually I was able to get more of these from Walmart. It kind of worked out. So I have two very minty ones. One is like on my carded collection, and that one. And I can't bring myself to open it because I just I want that piece of Beskar. I really like that Camtono, but it was like such a painful experience and also just a painful experience to get that figure that I was just like, no, I can't do it, man. So it's just one of those ones that haunts me for some reason. And like there's always so many stories about like, oh, I should have won that on a bid, or like that one was a really cheap turbo tank. Why didn't I bid on it? Like there's always those regrets. I think a lot of us have had those, or just like, dang, I just got beat out on that bid. But yeah, this one, something about it really, really stung. Then we have some questions here from Sci-Fi Dude, another great channel member, awesome dude, really, really supportive of 375 and just like collecting in general. Awesome. Question one, price increase for TVC figures. We talked about that, man. Like, I don't want to see it go any higher. I think both sides, Black Series and TVC, are kind of like, we don't want to see any more, like Yoda, pain, suffering, no more. Not happy about it. Screaming cat gif, but yeah, man. I think we'll be okay. We'll just have to see. But yeah. Question two, TVC lightsabers that look like they're in motion, just like the Black Series. Talked about this a little bit on the SWTVC live stream that I did with them about a week or two ago, something like that. Really want those accessories. They looked so cool with those Black Series figure reveals. And yeah, I definitely want to see more stuff like that, just creative for the TVC community. Because as someone mentioned earlier in here, asking me about like, the saber effects and just things that I do in my photoshopping and toy photography, other people who maybe don't have like that application or just like those design skills or the ability to do that stuff, they want to, kind of bring a little bit motion and life to their figures too, and like their fighting stances and stuff. So this would allow TVC collectors to also have, a little bit of fun doing some of these saber twirls and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I'm totally here for those. Absolutely think they would be cool and just, help grow the line a little bit. Do they need to be with every single figure? No, they can spread them out here and there, maybe go back and do a deluxe version of this character a year or two later and whatever, but yeah, I think those would be a great accessory. I love that they're giving us more force push hands and stuff like that. They need to keep that going, but yeah, I think sabers is one of the next things that they would be smart to give us. And they're always looking for ways to like give us great accessories. Like Emily was really creative with that. I love that she brought some of those like blaster effects to like the heavy repeating cannon and like the E-webs and stuff like that translucent orange plastic. Really cool. Helps bring a little bit more life to your collection. So yeah, I think they're thinking about it, but hopefully with, us getting into more Jedi figures and stuff like that, they'll think about these saber accessories. And then question three, how many figures should we expect from Hasbro when a new movie, show, or cartoon is released? Well, hopefully not just one like we saw with Skeleton Crew, because that was rough, or the Bad Batch. I don't know, man. It's always a hard question to ask. I feel like they even have this hard question where their concern, probably is how will the show do? Did they want to put all their Mudhorn eggs in one basket? It's difficult to see. Yeah, I would love to see what we saw with Ahsoka. I think it was one of the better new media representations for TVC. There's still obviously some figures we need. Shout out to Peridia Ezra. Need that one. And I want season 1 Ezra as well. Hero Collections asked that question when we were in a live stream. I want both.
I definitely want both. I think if I had to choose, probably be, season 1 Ezra, but don't forget about both, Hasbro. But yeah, they did a great job covering Ahsoka. Really good. Acolyte was covered pretty well too. We're now just getting the Stranger and some stuff like that, but they did a decent job there. As far as we should expect, I feel like they typically do like 3 to 5 figures. I don't know. I'm just thinking back to like when The Mandalorian first kind of hit and like yeah, we got like what, like Cara Dune, a Remnant Stormtrooper, and then Mando. And that was like kind of spread out even. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, as time has gotten by or has gone by, TBC's gotten stronger, so they've been giving us more and more. I'm also curious how it works with like Lucasfilm. Do they grant more permission to have more merchandising with certain figures, like or like properties. Like Ahsoka was obviously a huge fantasy world. Dave is, a huge collector himself of things. So I don't know, maybe that worked. I mean, The Mandalorian was obviously a hit, so they knew they could, market and like get product out there. And when they did the Razor Crest HasLab, John Favreau stopped by, took a look at that thing. Like, I don't know. I'm curious, but at a minimum, I would love to see at least 5 figures. The Mandalorian, that shouldn't even count as a figure when we're going into this new movie. We already have that one. So, like I said, Sigourney Weaver, X-Wing pilot with a Sigourney Weaver head. I'll take that even, That Zeb, that should be an all new figure. And I'm sure there's going to be some other characters that we're going to need, like villains. That's the other thing. Hasbro has been a little bit slow to get us the villains right off the bat. They did decent with Ahsoka. We had to, kind of like make some noise for Balin and stuff, but we got him. They gave us Morgan in the beginning. That's great. But yeah, villains. I want to see those villains too, Hasbro. Don't forget about the villains, because if I'm getting a movie and a show, man, I want both. You need the hero and the villain. And question 4. Plans on coming to LA for Star Wars Celebration 50th anniversary. Answer is yes, yes, yes. Like I mentioned earlier, I've never actually been to LA. I have been to California. I lived in California for a little bit. Never made it down to LA. And with the Lucas Museum happening and Star Wars Celebration for the 50th, it just makes sense to, go to LA sometime. I'll probably go first for the museum opening because I think that's sooner. But yeah, definitely plans on going out there. Are any of you guys going to Celebration in LA? I would imagine a lot of people are going to try and go. I really wanted to go to the Japan one just because it's Japan. Never been to Japan. Also, Star Wars Celebration Japan. Kind of cool. And my childhood friend actually had just gone to Japan for the first time and was showing me all sorts of like cool video game places and just like random toy shops and stuff like that. So it's just a good time. And I'm really bummed I didn't make it to Celebration Japan. I even had tickets, but it just wasn't financially a smart decision. As you guys know, sometimes you got to be actually adults and not spend the money. But yeah, man, definitely planning on going. Let me know if you guys are going. And yeah, let's check out and see what's up with the chat. You guys are going on. I love it. I love it. What we got here? Let's see. Margaret is missing out on getting the Naboo Royal Starship brand new for $50. Oh man. Dude, I would have been upset for the rest of the month and the whole year. Dang, that's a really good price. Really good price. Brand new. It was in the box, I imagine, if it's brand new. Dang, that's a steal, man, because that's one that I want to get too. It's a cool looking ship. I feel like it still holds up pretty well. And yeah, I mean, I've seen some people try to customize it to make it like that back metal, like really shiny appearance, which is pretty challenging to do. But oh man, I would love to get that thing in the collection. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it was a cool release. I feel like they should give us that accessory some more. I would. There's so many random things they've given us where I'm like, pack that in with someone else. I want more of those. Yeah, it was so small, so small. I'm trying to think, is that the smallest accessory we've ever gotten? I think that and maybe, oh man, some of those little like the floating stones that came with Grogu and Ahsoka, like that he floats with her on Corvus. Those are really tiny too. I haven't lost those. I put a little tack on those just so they don't fall off the shelf if I actually hit it or something. But yeah, definitely bummed on that Beskar, but it's all good. True that, man. I mean, like I said, things can be worse. But yeah, just something about it really. I just hate losing things. I really do. I'm appreciative of the things that I get into my collection room and that I have in life. So just losing a little piece of something was a little bit sad. Actually, recently, in all this move, surprisingly, not missing a single figure, none of that. Was very, very cautious with moving this Imperial cargo over here. The only thing that I lost in this whole move was a lampshade and somehow my like art supplies, like my model painting kit. And not like a kit per se, it was just like the paints. And they were like in the smallest little like box. And not even the moving company like moved that. Like I moved that. And somehow it did not get from my car into this home. And I've ripped apart like every corner of the place, being like, did I put it in this box with this other random TVC stuff? Like it's lost. It's just in the world between worlds. And I've actually been wanting to use that stuff because I have this custom that's been sitting here on my desk of this what I want to be Jedi Athorian that I just want to paint him up and like make that like a nice tan color. And I can't do it because I gotta buy some paints. And I was just been like, oh man, do I want to buy paints again? They were like brand new model paints and like brushes. And I was just like, dang. Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think the shows are probably a little bit more challenging for them just because I don't know. I just feel like sometimes people are getting kind of over shows them too, just because it's like a lot to keep up. Like I have friends who haven't even watched like man, like they like Star Wars. They're not maybe as crazy fanatics as some of us might be, but like some people haven't even watched Kenobi yet. And I'm like, have you not watched that? I watch everything the day it like comes out or whatever, but yeah, I don't know, and I think maybe that also creates a delay in buzz too, so it's challenging. Whereas, like, movies are a little bit more in your face. And actually, speaking of movies, I do wanna go back to this real quick. So, one last piece of, like, I guess, like, news or whatever you wanna call it was I don't know if you guys are fans of the Predator franchise, but I am. And I got to say that I really, really liked Predator Badlands quite a bit. I thought it was awesome, man. Like so good. Yeah. Did you guys see this movie? I am a huge fan, and I feel like they usually don't do too well when it comes to, Predator movies. They've been pretty hit or miss. Prey was great. Predators was good. The Predator was awful. But yeah, they did a good job with this movie. My only complaint was that I didn't get to see him use this weapon at all. And when we saw it in the trailer, I was like, man, like an electric crossbow, like an energy bow. Awesome. I can't wait to see that. Like Predator out there hunting stuff. And then he lost it within the first like couple minutes. And like spoiler alerts. I'm sorry if you guys haven't seen the movie, but like I was pretty hyped about that. And he lost his stuff. I was like, come on, man. But yeah, overall, this movie was pretty cool. I liked seeing like some upgrade designs here and stuff. And yeah, Predator is just one of those movies that's always had, following, but they've kind of like missed the target a couple times. This movie was kind of interesting because there's no humans really in it. All the human actors are actually synthetics. So I think they did a really good job with this movie just because sometimes I find like character writing for human characters seems a bit forced. Like humor can be a little off. And just like, I don't know, dialogue is kind of rough to fit into some of these movies. Like it tries too hard. But these were like synthetics. So the humor came off kind of like, oh, okay, it's a synthetic, so it's going to sound a little weird, but it's also actually kind of funny. So like, I don't know. Something about that I think really helped the movie. And just overall the pacing was great for me and character design I didn't like at first, but it grew on me. And yeah, this was actually some really nice world building to see, you know, this alien hunter species go to a different alien world and try to like take down this beast. So pretty cool. Had the little cutesy parts to it that I thought were still done well. And then, yeah, mech. I don't know. I was here for this movie. I definitely want to go see it again. I saw it in theaters like during the day at like 11 or 12. So chill, and I was pleasantly surprised. Like I didn't have a single like moment in the movie where I was like, oh, I'm bummed or like that's kind of annoying. Like it was a good ride from beginning to end. So I don't know. I would highly recommend going to see that movie if you're a fan of the Predator franchise. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about Predator. Um, Speaking of like 375 stuff, Hiya Toys has always done some pretty good Predator figures, and I would not mind them maybe doing some updates. Like we haven't seen anything from Prey, and I would like to see some Badlands characters. I think they'd be cool. I can't remember who it was. It was some graphic artist on Instagram actually was talking about the Kenner 375 Kenner like aliens and Predator figures from back in the 90s or whatever, and I commented on there because I was like, oh yeah, those are pretty cool. And then he was just talking about the nostalgia and like, oh, it'd be great to see like a 375 or just like action figure of this. And I think I added Mr. Stevie because I was like, if you're looking for 375, Hasbro things that you want to dive into, this technically falls under Disney now. So like get us some Predator figures and like TVC quality. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah. True that, Vendor Moon. True that, man. We do still need Jackie, Kalnaka, Vanestra. I really want a Wookiee, Jedi. I think they're cool. Kalnaka would be great. I also really want Gunji from the Bad Batch. Jackie also awesome. I like her character, and I think that Jedi tooling could be cool for other smaller female Jedi characters. So hopefully they'll knock out the rest of those Acolyte figures, and we could just be kind of like complete with that collection. So yeah. We need the commando droid and the one commander droid from the one show in Rebels. Oh man, yeah, I love that episode where they go back to finish the Clone Wars the way that they wanted to win it. Oh man, I can just hear that droid's voice in my mind right now. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. Also, the commando droids in general. Black Series got one semi recently or whatever. Looks really nice. I wouldn't mind getting a nice upgraded TVC commando droid. Yeah, because they had the ones in the Clone Wars line, which were okay, but I want to see something like real proper TVC. I'm also just always here for more like separatist droids and stuff. Also, they do need to fix up our B1 battle droids. They're not quite perfect. Oh, heck yeah, man. Awesome. That's great. Hopefully maybe we can like cross paths and stuff like that, dude. That'd be great to get together in celebration out there. Finding it with all the pieces intact is a job. I don't know what you're talking about, but finding things intact is definitely, yeah. Oh, probably the starship. Yeah, definitely. Finding anything that's older, like complete challenge. Oh man, you guys are killing me with some of the prices on that World Starship. Nice, awesome, man. Cool. That's what's up. Definitely down for that. Always love some good food. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. That is a small accessory. Good point. Oh man. It's like torture sometimes when they give us these cool accessories, but they're so small. And I'm just like, oh gosh, I don't want to lose that. How do you move your figures and pack them up? That was a good question. And I'm pretty crazy and methodical about things. Yeah. So the stuff on the shelves, not as bad because I pretty much put those like in a vac seal bag, like a plastic, whatever, food safe bag, and just like zip them up and then put them on top of each other into like clear plastic bins so I could see and like keep it organized. And I pretty much did all that for like the stuff that's on the white shelves and like a little bit more like organized. For the crazy spaceport back there, because I would have to obviously set it up again, and it's just like there's no tracking that. I pretty much did the same thing and did it by section. So if I'm looking at the ghost behind me on the other side over here, I would start on that shape because I basically built this whole thing like a U shape back there. So I would just start there, put all the figures one by one. I would basically blue tape their blaster to their hand or to their body so like would stay with them. Just one by one, carefully line them up like on a tray, if you will, of like paper. Like I got like it's like paper you use to put on the floor when you're like painting your house or something like that. It's just basically like construction paper. And yeah, we just lay them down layer by layer in plastic bins until I got everything out of the way. Then of course I had to like take all the like buildings apart. Yeah, it was wasn't easy. The buildings themselves, I tried to fit most of it into like a giant cardboard box I got from Home Depot. The flat panels are easier. Most of it is flat, but some of the stuff is actually built 4 sides or whatever, so that's a little trickier to fit into a giant box. But I don't know how I did it somehow, and somehow it all got here. And then of course the cards, you just put them in the boxes. I keep usually the case box that they come with and just like break them down because I knew I'd be moving again eventually. But yeah, let's just say it wasn't something I want to do again. Unfortunately, I don't think I will ever have to do it again. I will live and die in this collection room with this stuff where it is. So not moving it ever again. Awesome. Awesome. Love it. Like y'all loved it, man. It was a good time. It was a good time. I really enjoyed watching that movie too. Hey man, what's up, Stephen Murphy? Another really cool, supportive dude. Love having you in the comments and videos and stuff like that. Great to see you here. More Andor figures are needed. It's almost like Deidre looking for Axis at this point. The hunt is on with nothing in sight. Yeah, that's true. That's another one that just kind of like came and went, didn't it? Andor, unfortunately, especially with like season 2, like we don't have anything. I mean, we barely got that much for season 1. They didn't even finish off the heist crew, which is probably one of the easiest things to do because they're like army builders with different heads. So I don't know. Maybe one day we'll get back to that, but oh man, yeah, I don't know. Sadly, I feel like they're not going to go back. I wouldn't mind them doing some of those Imperial officers because those are some of the characters that I connected with the most, just because like I thought their performance was really good and like, yeah, who doesn't like more Imperial officers? But yeah, man. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't know for you guys who are Predator fans, if you watch that animated show that they kind of had come out, that like little short, it was really good. I tried to watch it initially, and I don't know if I was just really tired today. I just wasn't feeling it. Kind of started off slow. The animation wasn't like I don't know, it wasn't like Clone Wars for me or something like that. So I just wasn't feeling it that day. And I came back to it actually just like last week because my barber was like, dude, you gotta watch it. It's like it's actually pretty good. So I eventually watched it and I was like, yeah, dang, this was actually pretty sick. So yeah, man, they're doing pretty good stuff with Predator. I don't know if you guys liked Alien Earth. I wasn't 100% sold on it. There were some episodes that I thought were really cool, and I liked where they were going with some of the stuff initially. I always find that synthetic, focus. I find some interest in that. Like it's creepy stuff, so I'm like kind of like a little interested by it. But I don't know. Overall, towards the end, that show kind of lost it a little bit for me, and yeah, I don't know. It just finished up kind of odd. Yeah, I don't know. I did like the one part in the end. I don't know the like fly trap thing that like didn't do anything until like the very last episode. Super cool. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was like on the back wall when some dude like came into that little like lab room or whatever, and it basically bent ambient light. It was like on the wall. So it basically did some like predator stuff. And I can't remember what like weird video I was watching, but somebody was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that was like where the predators kind of got their idea to like cloak themselves, like going up against that thing, and just like other alien species that might have that kind of cloaking ability." But yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying. So we'll see with the next alien thing they do. But yeah, I don't know. They've been doing okay too. Romulus was kind of cool, but Alien Earth just didn't quite do it for me. Not like this Predator movie, man. Also, I will note that this Predator movie was pretty cool with the like electro like swords and stuff like that. Awesome. Loved it because also never see any kind of like sword battles like that ever in a Predator movie. And it just kind of gave me not Star Wars vibes, but it was just like cool to see like a red bladed thing swinging around. Like I thought it was pretty badass. Yeah. Yep. Prey killer of killers. Yeah. I agree, man. Oh, really, dude? Nice. How do you feel about Predator 2? I know some people hate Predator 2. I love Predator 2. I think just because it was like always on TV when I was a kid, and it just like I don't know, then like 90s shoot 'em up or whatever. Like I don't know, I was mesmerized by it, and also like the Predator in the city. Cool. I love Predator 2. I know some people hate it. Tops 375. Hey, nice to have you here. By the way, awesome, man. Glad to have you here. We'll catch the rest in the morning. But hey, thanks for popping in, man. I'm sure, we'll have other streams and maybe you can catch, but thanks for stopping by. Yeah, that's how I felt. I was a little bit tired, to say the least. To say the least. It's all good. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I haven't done any custom figures recently just because of that. Yeah, things are like getting a little bit better where I'm like able to be like, okay, I maybe could spend like $5 here or whatever, just get more things. Like, I don't know. As you guys know in this talk, like everything's expensive. So I've just been trying to be like a little bit more responsible, if you will, and just not buy everything immediately. But it's challenging sometimes because I like want to work on like projects or like film a video, and it's like I should probably get some paint so I can do that. And like I have other paints to use, but they're like more like painting paints for like the buildings or just like actual like canvases. So it's a bit heavier, and you want the like model paint just because like it's a little lighter. And I could water down the other stuff. It's just like a bit more challenging. But yeah, man, I have some customs I need to work on. So maybe I'll just like, light film those videos and just like show you guys a couple little bit of like steps of me doing certain parts of the figure and then just show off the customs in the future. I actually have Tython Boba Fett that I've been wanting to do forever because you can basically make that figure. Hasbro has everything they need to make that figure. And as a matter of fact, even in this little drawer right here, I have the leftovers of the the Nomad Fett, which I can't remember what I did. I think I took his belt, popped that off with his legs or whatever, and then put that on the Morak Boba Fett release, the Target exclusive one. And you can basically kit bash those two together and make Tython Fett. And then if you actually take the jetpack from the Deluxe Cobb Vanth and put that on that Boba Fett with the rocket from the deluxe figure, and then weather it all up, give it some scuffing and paint stuff, you'll basically have a Tython Fett. So just a process that I haven't gotten to, but also, man, Hasbro, that Tython episode has come and gone. We're about to have a Mandalorian movie, and we never got that figure. But yeah, that's one hole in my collection that I'm trying to fill. So, and it's also kind of an easy custom. And after the Cobb Vanth with like the weathering I was able to do, I was like, I should probably tackle this. So yeah, man, I'll try to get to it. Yeah, I know. Originally, I was like, how are they going to do that? Those are kind of like harsh movies with graphic violence and stuff like that. Not really a Disney vibe, but I don't know. Predator Badlands was pretty cool. Although I think my friend was telling me, is like, I was surprised when I saw it was PG-13. I thought it was not going to be cool. And then it was pretty gruesome. But I think that's because like there was a lack of like killing of humans. It was all like aliens. So heck yeah, man. Gunji, my dude. Gunji's such a cool character. I think he's a little slept on. A young little Wookiee Padawan who's still there's like so much story you could tell with Gunji. He's still there. He didn't get Order 66. How long do Wookiees live? Quite a long time. Gunji could be around for a while, man. And yeah. Also, I just love that that fool has a snaggle tooth. Like he's adorable. He's pretty badass. So yeah, need that one for my Clone Wars and Bad Batch, display. Get us Gunji. Yeah, I know a lot of people really want some Indiana Jones like proper 375 figures. And it's definitely a good line for like world building. Just like, there's a lot of vehicles and stuff that they can do, and 375 lends itself to that. So Indiana Jones would be pretty good. Also, I wouldn't mind Indiana Jones. I love the franchise. I've always grown up with those movies, very fond of them. But also just like some of the character designs and stuff like that would lend well to like kit bashes of like weird mercenary alien figures that I could put back there with stuff. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty interesting. Although I don't know if Riley Bob is still here in the chat, but I forgot to include this in one of my your questions when you were asking me about like picking up stuff for like my world and stuff like that. And I actually recently brought in here that big old table back there. So as I was saying, I try not to like hoard too much stuff and like supplies or whatever. But that one thing back there, I saw Empire Toy Works kind of like did this for his own like incredible world that he has, where it's like a children's play table. I can't remember who makes it. Like I think Playmobil makes them, but other companies do. And I saw one of these on the side of the road by my old house before I moved, and I was like, "Oh, dang, that's one of those things." So I actually picked that stupid thing up and dragged it back, and it's been sitting in a corner for a while, and now it's up here because I was basically going to turn that into a mini like little spaceport landing port thing in the middle of the collection room. Now, I do have some problems with it because when I originally got it, I didn't know what this space would be like, and it's a little bigger than I want. So where it currently is where I kind of want it, but you can't walk around it. You can walk around it like 360, but it wouldn't be. You'd feel a little nervous that you would knock into the ghost or something like that. So I kind of want it to either be narrower or mobile. So like put it on wheels so I could roll it back towards me this way, and it's like a little bit more spacious that way. But I also would need it to like move out of the way when I'm doing like reviews and stuff like that. So I haven't really figured out what I want to do with it yet, but you can also see it as kind of got that like hole towards the bottom. And I thought that would be really cool. It looks like a hangar. So if I built this thing out to where it had a floor and then it was super lit up in there, that could be like an interior hangar area for some ships. And then on the top would be another landing platform where another ship could land. And then it would have other like columns and stuff that went further up and had a couple more landing platforms and just kind of build it up. So I don't know, kind of like a floating like oil rig, kind of like what Empire Toy Works did. But that's another thing that I randomly picked up that's like junk, I guess, and gathering for the world. But yeah, that one's going to be a bit of a process. I need to take that back down to the garage because it's going to sit there for a minute until I start working on it. But yeah, another thing I got to put on the list as always in motion the collection room is. Yeah, see, Peak knows. Didn't you make a custom of one of those, man? I feel like I've seen one on either your page or somebody else's. It might have been Audie's workshop, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised if you've made one too. You've made quite a number of characters. Again, if you haven't checked out Peak Obi-Wan, really awesome customs. Someone asked this earlier. Soon. Perfectionist. I'm always moving things around, but that back area is definitely a lot more settled. I've kind of like completed a lot of things back there. So maybe I'll do like a half collection room tour where I show off like the spaceport and stuff like that. But so much lighting and stuff needs to happen over here on these like white shelves. And I still have a ton of things I need to put up. Like I haven't even set up a permanent display for some of the cantina, which I would like to have the alcoves at least on these shelves, but I'm getting to it. Don't worry, man. It's coming. Do you think the Hasbro 375 initiative will always be HasLabs like Tron? That's a good question. I don't think so, but I don't know. It's like, do they need that to kind of kick off to show there's like demand for it? Does it help? I don't know. Like, I think that's not a good way of going about it. Like, if you're gonna go in 375, you have to take some kind of like leap of faith or like confidence that like people actually want this stuff. And I think if you're going to do that, then you need to actually get a good gauge on like what is the most important thing if you were going to do a 375 line. And I feel like Steve was kind of asking around, being like, do people want Tron? Like, and I guess a lot of people were hyped on Tron, but clearly not enough to maybe purchase a HasLab. I think that's the other thing. It wasn't clear. Like maybe a lot of people were down for Tron figures, but they were hoping to just get like a set of figures, case of 8 characters or whatever. And instead of having to pay, whatever that thing's called. I think it's like 200 plus, right? For like a light display stand and a couple figures. And I don't know. I don't think they should always do that initiative though. Like if they're going to go back and do Indiana Jones, just like I don't know, do some market research, find out who are the characters that are really, top of people's list, obviously it'd be indie, and just like attack it like that. But yeah, I don't think everything needs to be a HasLab, personally. And like if they're worried about like clearance vulture people and stuff like that, I don't know, make it Pulse exclusive, man. Have you ever used Marauder Gunrudders figures accessories for your customs? I thought I remembered seeing some parts. If you have not, go check them out. One of my favorites. Dude, definitely have. Definitely have. I've used them quite a bit on my customs, like their ammo pouches and stuff like that are great for, decking out alien mercenaries and stuff like that. Actually, I was thinking about using some of those for like some clone, like what would you call those? Resistance fighters, like those Bad Batch style dudes that you saw. Yeah, I was thinking about doing some stuff like that. Also, I have used their like spare hands, specifically for customs, but also like my Tusken Raiders. Because I don't know if you guys ever noticed Tusken Raiders don't have hinge wrists, just swivels, and one of them is like in a gun position, but it's kind of bad. It's a really crappy hand position. So I actually got some replacement hands on Marauders. They're just like brown gloved hands, but they look perfect. Like it's not too different of a tan color, so that it meshes well with that figure, and then you're actually able to put it in a better sniper position. The peg is like a little loose, but it stuck in enough to where like it doesn't fall out. So it does a job for what I need on my collection and photos for actually letting them hold that like a cycler rifle. But yeah, man, Marauders is great. Yeah, it really does. It really does. That two blaster department, that's been a thorn in a lot of our sides for quite a while. And like I've said to Hasbro multiple times, if they do a proper battle droid, I will army build those. And I know other people like Blitz Transmissions and a lot of other, army builders will definitely be buying some of those for their, clone battles and stuff. Okay, nice. Definitely. Yeah, there's always a lot of stuff on eBay. Killer of Killers. Yeah, man. It was pretty good. I slept on it. Oh man, Blitz Transmissions. I don't know if you're still in here. Probably got out of here, but it was great having you here, man. Again, if you guys aren't familiar, Tommy's a great dude. Definitely check him out. Appreciate it, man. Alien Earth. It was awesome. Okay, yeah. Glad you dug it, man. I dug it. It was just like towards the end, like it just wasn't my favorite ending, and just like kind of where the story was going. I just found it a little bit like rough. Also, like while the synthetics were like kind of cool, or like the superhuman hybrid synthetics, some of the acting with those children actors, I know they were supposed to be acting like really like dumbed down children or whatever. It was just a little brutal at some points, and I was just like, okay, let's get on it. Also, my biggest qualm actually was the alien itself, where it just became kind of like an attack dog, and it's like I don't know. I hold them to a little bit more of a higher pedestal, if you will. Like it's the perfect organism. It's kind of like the predator. It's friend of none. Like, and I know they were trying to like go to like some of the like comic stuff where like you could speak to the aliens and stuff like that, and like I don't know. I don't know. There's just some things. Overall, I liked the show, but like it wasn't a slam dunk for me. Also, I actually didn't really like the look of the alien itself. I thought it looked a little funny at first, like the shorter like things on its back looked a little odd to me, but more the face looked kind of goofy. I don't know. They didn't give it sharp teeth, which at some scenes was just like not working for me. True, true. I feel like a lot of us, are a little guilty of that, but yeah, man. Hey, Predator 2 has some pretty good scenes. Compared to some movies that I see nowadays, Predator 2 is gold. Whoa. They did. I mean, that reminds me, like I have that bug somewhere from Starship Troopers. I need to go find that thing. I don't remember if I ever had any of the other like figures from that line, but I definitely had that like bug. I don't remember what it's called. I need to rewatch that movie too. I was thinking about that sort of recently. I was like, man, I haven't watched that movie in years, but definitely had that thing. Starship Troopers. I could see that being kind of a cool 375 line. Do you do any other types of painting or art other than figure customization and diorama building? Yeah, I actually do. So like I am like a graphic designer by trade, so obviously I do a lot of design work for like the channel and stuff like that, and clearly my toy photography and some other like mock-up stuff, but I actually do some paintings too. Mostly just modern art, very simplistic color theory stuff. But yeah, I do dabble in some painting. So yeah, I don't know. Are you into art as well? Tops 375, and what other mediums do you work with? Okay, man, I feel that. I know you try to keep it like not too cluttered in your life as well. You like to, not go overboard and keep it minimalist, which I can appreciate and I totally get it because I try to maintain that, but as I've said, it's a little bit of organized chaos in here. But yeah, not collecting anything other than TVC, but if they did Lord of the Rings 375 HasLab, but the Fellowship of the Ring, I'd have to back it. I could see some people being into that. I have a friend who's like really into Lord of the Rings too, and I'm kind of curious if he would be into it. He liked Rebels, and I showed him the Ghost when it came down, and he's not a collector, but it wasn't enough to like shoot him or like get him to like take the shot and like dive into like getting a Ghost. But I'm kind of curious how he would be if he saw like a Lord of the Rings HasLab. Interesting. Also, that'd be cool. Getting Lord of the Rings figures. I think those would do pretty well. Hasbro crapped the bed so hard by not making modern, super articulated 375 Indiana Jones line. Such a huge mistake. I would have bought a ton of that stuff, but they made 6-inch, so I bought nothing. Yeah, Finn, I know you were super bummed on the lack of anything 375 for Indiana Jones recently, man. I hear you. I feel like a lot of people kind of felt like that. I don't know. I don't know if necessarily it was like a huge win for them in that 6-inch stuff. And like, granted, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. But I feel like they should have done at least a small subset of 375 stuff. Like, do a modern indie, even if it was just like indie and like two other characters. I feel like that would have been pretty chill and like give 375 something. But leaving them completely out of that was definitely like, yeah, man, come on. How you gonna do them like that? There's other people who like probably want some stuff. And like there's probably people who still have like a nice indie display from their like 375 line back in the day. Like, just like outside of the realm of like Star Wars collecting, there are probably people who would have been really appreciative of like a 375 indie line. And like I said, I would probably would have bought some of that stuff because like I like indie and also good custom stuff. True that, man. Sci-fi dude, question. If the house is on fire, what is the only thing you grab on the way out? Well, first of all, knock on wood, dude. I don't want anything like that to ever happen. And if I had to grab anything on the way out, it's gonna be this whole room and throwing it out the window. Dang, I don't know, man. That's so tough. If I had to like choose one thing on the way out. Well, there's no gunship yet, so I can't grab that. I'm definitely grabbing the Ghost and the Falcon. Ah, dang, the Razor Crest too. Those big ships are hard to part with. Dang. If I had to choose. Oh my gosh, that's so rough. I don't know. Like, part of me is like, I should grab the Crest. I should grab the Ghost. I should grab the Falcon. But there's a bunch of Falcons online. I could always find another Falcon. I don't know. I might have to grab that Ghost. I might have to grab that Ghost. Because I'm not paying for another Ghost. Then again, I don't want to pay for another anything, man. Gosh, if Hasbro got a definitive battle droid, I'd be absolutely broke between buying them and more clone troopers. True that. It's kind of funny because like I'm always like, yeah, upgrade that army builder. Yeah, oh man, now I gotta buy a ton of these. And I don't think Hasbro's necessarily bad when it comes to this, but I wish it'd be nice if there was like every year or every other year they did like a fan vote where it was like, which army builder do you guys want to see again? Because sometimes maybe you or I are not in a position to buy 20 battle droids right now. And like other people are buying them. Sure, that's great. Support the line. Maybe I could only get as many as I could get. But that doesn't mean that I then want to wait until like, or like when I do have the ability to get them, I have to go to the secondary market and it's like a little bit more expensive. It'd be smart if Hasbro was like, okay, what army builder should we do again? Kind of like we gave them feedback with like, oh, you should keep the Stormtrooper refreshed. Keep it somewhat always available for like new collectors. And obviously the Stormtrooper is like the quintessential like army builder. It's like probably one of the most recognizable things in Star Wars, period. But I think it would be smart if they were like, okay, which Legion of the Clone should we do next year or like this year, like as a definite repack? Or like, would you like to see the Super Battle Droid this following year as another availability, or like the B1 or something like that? Speaking of Super Battle Droid, we definitely need a new one of those and just a Super Battle Droid in general. So many droids. Yeah. Starship Troopers. I really got to watch that again, man. Dude, I feel you. I feel you, Evan. I honestly looked up at the clock and was like, dang, we've already been going for 2 hours. Dang, time flew by fast. Again, like, dude, thanks to anyone who's here just hanging out, has come through in the beginning or stayed to the end or popped in at the end and just hanging out, asking questions. This is cool, man. Like, I know a lot of people like have been asking in the comments or like when I'm in other streams, like, when are you going to do a Toys of the Way live stream? Like, when is it? When is it? And I've been trying to like, get my life together and like the collection and together and like find the time. And I definitely want to keep doing these like more regularly. I don't know if this is something you guys are into. I'm definitely gonna have, topics for each show, but if you guys are cool with like hanging out weekly or like maybe every other week and just doing a stream and just chatting, talking about, I don't know, what nerd stuff we're into right now or what's going on in your collection room, I'm definitely down to do that. And I think this is going to be something I'm doing much more, frequently. And we'll have some guests on here and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. I just want to create something like cool where we just hang out, talk about creative stuff, and, just be a bunch of nerds. I love your big underground city. It made me change all of my room and start to make something similar. Oh man, that's awesome. I am glad I could inspire you, but also that's cool. Like now you're you're taking your first steps into a larger world, if you will. That's super cool. I would love to hear more about it. Like, what's your plan for it? Are you setting it up in a corner? Do you have a vision for it? Are you going to try and make it, kind of like Coruscant Underground, like kind of like I did here, like very industrial? Like, yeah, what's your kind of plan? Are you going to start with like a landing platform? Like, yeah, that's awesome. Love to hear more about it. The recent B1s in the 4-pack, I heard they thickened the plastic on the legs so they wouldn't be as bendy. Did they have rockers at all? Yeah, so they actually have rocker ankles. The legs are a whole new sculpt. It's not even just like thicker plastic. It's a new sculpt, so it actually has like a swivel at the thigh. It's got the rocker ankles. Overall, from the legs down, significantly better. And the thicker, like beefier look to it doesn't look bad to me. Yeah, they're really good. Some people have said they've had troubles with them falling down, but to be honest, mine are up on that top shelf and have not fallen down. Like one of them fell. I don't know if there was an earth tremor or something like that, but like I bought 2 sets and all 8 have been doing quite well up there. Not like the last one, which was just, I don't even want to get into it. I actually had a triggering video I was going to do where I was going to take one of those and like chop it in half with a pair of like garden shears, because I actually legit want to do that to use for like photos, so I don't have to like Photoshop it broken in half, and that way I can just have 2 pieces and like physically just show that that thing got sliced by a lightsaber. But yeah, those figures suck, and these ones are much better. They just need to redo the upper body and get those 2-handed grips of the blaster, and I think they'd be they'd be good to go. But yeah, they're not bad, man. Definitely pick them up. I think they're still on Pulse. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I should probably grab another pack of those. They're not perfect yet, but it's better than having no B1s stand around in my collections. 3.75 Stargate. Whoa, dang. Stargate. I remember watching that when I was so young and just being like, this is crazy. I like that movie a lot. It's another one I should revisit actually. And I think these Stargate figures would be kind of cool too. Awesome. Nice. Yeah, there's so many like weird sci-fi properties that lend pretty decently to like 375 collecting. So I don't know. I'm curious to see where this initiative and just like new 375 like spark will go. Oh, yeah, man. I was living out there for a little while, and let's just say that was not a good time. I've never felt more lost. I felt like Anakin. I feel lost, but also just like, oh man, the Cal Fire like fighters are some of the coolest, hardest working, like incredible people. Like the stuff they do to like combat those fires is just like props to those dudes, man. And also just like, yeah, it's so sad to see like some people lose their homes and stuff like that. I was fortunate not to like lose anything, but definitely a reality check when you're like, wow, everything you ever knew could be gone in a matter of moments. Like when a fire gets within a mile of your house and your junk. Um, let's just say I put a lot of junk in a car and took it far away. And yeah, it was a time. But man, if you're out there in California, man, and you're dealing with Cal fires, I hope you're well, dude. Oh my god. Get out of here. No, don't burn your plastic ships. Running out of time. Never. Time is forever. Never stops, I guess. I do a ton of art though. I'd like to. I dabble and am learning Photoshop for TVC concepts and stuff. Oh, nice. Awesome, man. I've tried my hand at drawing here and there, but not much talent for it. You know, I some people say this like in my comments when it comes to like tutorials or even custom figures and stuff like that where they're like, "Oh, those look so cool. I would love to dabble into that." I'm really like not an artistic person or I think I'd mess up and it's like Star Wars, you know? It's like when he puts the blast helmet on. It's like your eyes can deceive you, your own like hesitance can deceive you, you know? It's all a learning process. I wasn't good at things when I first started. I was always kind of a creative like kid. I always drew a lot. I like tried to like copy comic books. Clearly I loved like Star Wars and like action figures and it's just like creative person in general. But like in terms of like what I do today, even like my first like action figure photography. Like I was always into photography before that, but like it's all a learning process and it's all learning to see things from a certain point of view that's like different. Visual, like, you know, storytelling and like study is just like, I don't know, it's a process. So I think, you know, like don't be scared to try, you know. Like Yoda said, failure is like, you know, the greatest teacher. We're all gonna mess up every once in a while. And like one of my favorite quotes is from this movie called The Hunted from the 90s. It's got Christopher Lambert in it. It's like a samurai ninja movie, and there's a line in it where I don't know, the ninja were trying to kill him and like they failed. And this lady says, they like never failed before. And the guy's like, how'd they fail? She was like, even monkeys fall out of trees. And like it's pretty true with a lot of things, man. You're always gonna trip and stumble, but if you just like stay at it and keep like, you know, keep enjoying what you do, like yeah, I'm sure you'll get there, man. So that's awesome though. I'm glad you're diving into some of that Photoshop and some concept stuff. And I think I've actually been seeing some of that, man, on online. So that's cool. Awesome stuff. Heck yeah, man. I love being on you guys' live streams too. Love doing these. It's just great to like hang out with everyone and definitely got to get you on here, man. And vice versa. Like more live streams. Love that we're all just building a nice community together and just like, you know, supporting each other and just hanging out. Bunch of nerds. I can't sleep at work till 2:30 a.m. Whoa. Dang. 2:30. That's pretty early or late. So, oh man, I think you're gonna need a Red Bull. I absolutely enjoyed it. More streams. Awesome, man. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Glad to have you here too, man. Um, Again, great dude. Love hearing that you're building more for your world as well. The one item I'm grabbing is my 375 2-pack of Darth Nihilus and my dog. Those are probably very important things you're gonna want, man. Especially the dog, definitely the Darth Nihilus. So that's awesome. I'm glad, you gotta get the dog out. Gotta get the dog out. Twice a month. Okay. Noted. Noted. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. I'm definitely gonna stick to like Wednesdays. It's like a good day for me. I think it's also like a nice in the middle of the week kind of thing. Like, we got through our Mondays, like nobody likes Mondays. And yeah, it's just a good like, middle point where we can all just kind of hang out, talk about some stuff and get ready for the weekend. And like, I know the weekend some people stream, but like I kind of want to like I'm always working on stuff first of all, but also like I kind of want to enjoy my weekend too and just like not have to worry about like committing to something, if you will. But yeah, I think this middle of the week could be pretty cool for us. Yes, 375 needs a somewhat often live stream, keeping the lines of communication open for 375 talk. Yeah, I also agree with that, Riley Bob. That's kind of like why I want to do these. Just so, like it's like a little bit of an open forum. We can like, just chat about a bunch of stuff. I'll have like set topics that we can talk about. We'll catch up on like new shows, new movies when they come out, and mostly also just talk about like things in 375 that either we think are working well or also that we need to see, or just like, whatever's kind of floating each one of our boats in our collection rooms. Like there's a lot to talk about. And yeah, cool, man. Glad you guys you're feeling it. Sci-Fi Dude says weekly. So we got twice a month. Sci-Fi Dude's down for weekly, but also he was one of the main people everywhere in the chat, constantly being like, "Where's the Toys of the Way live stream? I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it." So I can see you being weekly. Okay, noted. Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, I also like that you guys can just like kind of chat with each other and just like again, like just build something like community wise here and even share ideas on anything you guys are working on as well. So, yeah, cool. Thoughts on Last Figure Standing this year seemed rather meh when it came to choices and outcome, in my opinion. All just seemed as expected and lacked excitement. I had a Last Figure Standing slide that I was going to pull up, but man, we just got like into the conversation, which I kind of love. But let me pull it up actually, in case some people, I imagine most people here probably know about Last Figure Standing, but we can share that. Okay, so if for some reason you're not aware of what this is, Last Figure Standing is another fan poll, kind of similar to SWTVC March Madness, where it's just the community coming together to talk about which characters they want to see in the vintage collection. And Last Figure Standing does a slightly different way, where it's like top 10 going at it, and basically you get 10 figures after a bunch of people voted for like what they want to see. They compile the data, get the top 10, highest ranking, and then kind of pin match them up against each other. So you go through several rounds where you choose like who you want. And it got towards the end of the Last Figure Standing battle, and it was between Luthen Rail and RLF Schulz. And Luthen Rail is the winner. Now, I think that's really awesome. Arlisle was part of the HasLab Cantina. He was one of the tiers. He didn't quite make it, and he's an exciting figure, but also not that exciting for me, just because the prototype they showed for the HasLab was already half done because it's using the lower legs from Jod from Skeleton Crew. So that figure seems more obtainable. Whereas Luthen, none of that tooling really kind of exists. And like somebody brought up earlier, Andor did not get a ton of rep when it came to TVC, so Luthen definitely needs a figure. I personally went with Luthen. He got my vote, so I'm kind of happy to see him get there. Now, Riley Bob, you're talking about like I feel like what did Arlisle win last year? I can't remember off the top of my head. But basically it ended up being a very similar outcome to last year. So it wasn't like drastically different. And I feel like because of that, I don't know, people maybe just were like, okay, it's about the same. There's nothing going on here. I still think it's important to kind of like show that like demand is still there for very similar characters, but yeah, I don't know. I'm cool with the outcome just because I wanted Luthen to win. He's been on, many polls, many people's top 25s. I definitely want Luthen. I think he's not only a good character, he'd be a good action figure just because his parts could also maybe lend to my own creative stuff in terms of making customs and stuff like that. But yeah, I think overall he'd just be a pretty decent action figure. You could also actually interact with the casting that we have from that show. So there's something. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of the Wolfman also making it up there, I get it. It's not that exciting because it's not a fresh new matchup. But I mean, like even Pong Krell did pretty well in like two of the March Madness polls. But yeah, I don't know. Clearly, it just shows that there's also still demand for like certain characters that they really need to check off before we start reevaluating and start getting into more like EU things that we want or just like other media properties. Like I'm already thinking about my top 25 list for March Madness, and oh, man, there's so many characters that I'm already thinking that I need to go back to and really put on like the client. I'm gonna start beating the drum for the client, especially after my Star Wars guys has been doing some of those really cool posts where he's showing like, how Black Series has it and then putting it with like 375 figures and just showing how ridiculous it looks. Like, why don't we have the client yet, man? Going back to my triggering story about that Cam Tono, yeah, I'm gonna need the client, and I hope he comes with that accessory because this time I'm not gonna lose that Beskar piece either. But yeah, man. Overall, I don't know. It wasn't like super surprising, I guess. But I'm still happy with the outcome. It will take up to 3 or 4 walls and will be Coruscant. I'm starting with a cantina and landing pad. Awesome, awesome. I feel like that Coruscant underworld is just like such a perfect vibe for like, I don't know, just like that scum and villainy. But yeah, starting with a cantina is always good. I can't even remember what I started with. I feel like I just started with some random building and like that bridge to another section, and it was not really a cantina. I guess it kind of was. I think I put some cantina stuff in there, but it was also part armory. And then I just started going off. But I think the cantina was also something I then added on. Yeah, because the cantina is on this section over here by the ghost. Yeah, I don't know. Such a blur now because I just add things. I don't really plan it out too much. I kind of stare at it and I'm just like, okay, it would be cool if I maybe threw a landing platform over here. And then I just kind of go from there, to be honest. But awesome. That sounds cool. $375 The Final Battle, the big haired 80s one. I think there was a small toy line in 375 back in the 80s. Interesting. Interesting. I have to look that up, man. Yeah, that'd be cool too. That'd be cool. The Expanse would be an awesome show to have in 375 line 4. Whoa, cool. Not familiar with that show either, man. I'm really bad sometimes with keeping up with certain like a bunch of shows. I will admit right now, I primarily watch Star Wars on repeat. Like all Star Wars on repeat. Like maybe it's a sign of being crazy and doing the same thing over and over again, but like I'll put on Clone Wars again, I'll go through Rebels again, I'll rewatch Mando or Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew. I watch all of it quite a bit. Obviously, I dabble in like other things, and then I don't know. I'm always going on repeat with a lot of like 90s action movies too. I really enjoy some of that stuff that I don't know, I just watched as a kid or like later on and like got hip to. Like Heat is one of my favorite movies. It's quite a phenomenal movie. Um I don't know. I watch Independence Day quite a bit. I like that movie a lot. Clear and Present Danger also. I mean, there's so many good Harrison Ford movies that I can just watch over and over again as well. But yeah, I'll have to check that out, man. There's so many things that I really should be trying to check out. I get collectors want Arlisle, but he was kind of a waste for Last Figure Standing. I have a strong feeling he's on the Cantina 4-pack. I think that was another thing too that might have made people like a little bit frustrated because like we have a feeling he's coming. And that's the thing that's like challenging with some of these polls. Like Last Figure Standing was great, but like maybe if Hasbro would have been like, okay, you're definitely getting this guy or like pipelined him. I know they're not doing pipeline now. So maybe if they would have pipelined him and not revealed him, we would know he's coming. So therefore, people will be like, okay, I don't have to vote for him or push for him so hard. Let me put somebody else in there that might be a little bit like of a wild card. Like Clea was in there. That's kind of a wild card. Now, Clea wasn't like one that I was like, oh, dang, I really want that figure just because she's a great actress and like the character was great, but I can't think of her like being a like one. I don't know what look people want because it wasn't really, was it like her look in the shop? Was it her look when she goes undercover and take my man out? Like, I don't know. Also, like, what accessories she come in with, man? And people were just like so annoyed with Morgan Elsbeth not having an accessory that I'm like, okay, we got to be like a little bit careful sometimes when we choose like a certain character. Like, they need to come with an accessory. So, like, what would she come with? Hopefully, a blaster. Hopefully, a blaster. But yeah, Cantina 4-pack. If that's coming and it has Wolfman in it, they should have announced that or like pipelined it. And I know they're trying to get away from pipelines, but when we have these like big events like this where people are like showing the demand for something, they should, try to take note too and be like, okay, probably a lot of people are going to go for Arlisle. Maybe we should just reveal him. Heck yeah, man. Awesome. Glad you're here too, dude. Glad you're here. Twice a month, you say? Okay. Okay, cool. I'm definitely going to think about it. Twice a month sounds pretty good. I mean, weekly would be like cool, but it seems like a lot. I think maybe if we get to a point, like weekly could be pretty chill. But yeah, thinking twice a month could be pretty rad. Let's alternate weeks for live streams. I'll host a Wednesday, you host the next, and so on and so forth. Now that's a pretty cool idea, man. That's actually pretty cool because then we keep like the conversation going on and like, yeah, I could be into that. That'd be pretty great. And I feel like a lot of people would be pretty here for that too. Big Luthen. Yeah, he did win. He did win. Yeah, I feel like, it is challenging when there's so many like characters that people have been saying they want and are repeat like contestants on these like fan polls. Like Second Sister, got to shout her out. Tyler, SWTC, has been banging a lot of drums because we don't have Inquisitors. And that particular Inquisitor has been, I think, on every single March Madness, like ranked pretty well, yet don't have that figure. Why? Could possibly lend to other Inquisitors. Like, oh man, yeah, there's just so much they need to do, and it's challenging. I don't know. Hopefully they'll start knocking out some of these Jedi and like other prequel trilogy stuff, so we don't have them on the list anymore, or like we can kind of start supplementing some other stuff. But yeah, man, there's just so many things they got to get to. As someone who's had Clay on my March Madness from the beginning, whoa, cool, man. Long before season 2, I'm glad she made it in. Hope she ends up on March Madness next year. Yeah, really cool character. I'm just like, I'm not sure which figure people want. I'm not sure which one I would even want because, like, I don't know. The shop Clay could be cool, but then am I ever going to get Luthen with his wig? I don't know. Like, there's so many questions. But no, she was definitely a really cool, really strong character. Yeah, she also has that like undercover look where she's like walking around the town. I thought that look was actually pretty cool, like her scarfed up look. I don't know. There's quite a few looks. I just don't know which one we want. Yeah, yeah, man. Exactly. Last Figure Standing was a lot of repeat characters and themes. Hasbro needs to up their game when it comes to figure selection. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, like I've said, there's always so many holes we're trying to dig ourselves out of. Like We don't have season 1 Grief Karga. Carl Weathers, rest in peace. Phenomenal. Don't have a proper season 1 character of him. We got the season 2, which was great, but man, I need that season 1. Needs to go in our cantina. Need that client. So there's always just a hole that we're like digging ourselves out of. Like we had inferior clones until just now. We had inferior Jedi tooling until just now. So I don't know. They've been making pretty big steps forward. There's just now like a lot to catch up on. So I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe now that there's like a few less shows all happening like back to back to back, they can start checking off some of these things. And like I said, with the Mandalorian Grogu, it's just the Mandalorian, like that guy's checked off, so we don't need him. But yeah, maybe they can start to spread some of that tooling out to cover off some of these or check off some of these characters and themes. Take anything from Andor. I feel that, man. Andor had some great characters, and I don't know. Maybe Hasbro will go back. Maybe they won't. I don't know. We got to show demand, I guess, but that's what these polls are for. Get your top 25 list ready for March Madness. Believe it or not, that will be here eventually, pretty soon. I feel like, yeah, November's almost come and gone. December, January, we're getting close, man. I've already done my March Madness list. Nice, with some subs in case they get made. Cool, man. I like you're thinking about the subs. I never think that far in advance. I'm just like, let me jot these people down and I'll adjust if I need to. But awesome. Love that a lot of people are already getting ready for that. I'll be excited to see the chatter and like who ends up, facing off with each other. Yeah, true. I know. It's quite sad. I don't even want to think about how long it's been since that show first aired, but that's how you know you got a little bit of a problem. You got that big of a hole in your collection. But no comment. Thanks for the show, brother. Always a nice brief escape from reality. Awesome, man. Appreciate it. We're here to, just hang out and talk about these things that we enjoy when it comes to, Star Wars and just collecting and other stuff in general. But awesome, man. Glad we could be there for y'all. Sci-Fi Dude with a question. Shouldn't Hasbro make more EU figures like High Republic comic and video game figures? Yes, they should. I think TVC and 375 in general should cover a lot of different Star Wars. There are a lot of different people who love different parts of this whole galaxy, and getting all of it to us is important. And I will always stand by this statement that I've had that there's no such thing as a bad action figure, because you can always turn it into something that you want. So say you don't like the High Republic for some reason, you can turn that into a figure that you do like. All you have to do is just be a little creative, pop ahead, whatever, man. Like, there's a saying, your focus determines reality. Same for your collection room. Need more Skeleton Crew figures. Only want Brutus. Yeah, Brutus was the one where I'm like, I can't believe we didn't get that figure. You would think if we get one figure to go with Jod, at least it'd be Brutus. He was also like the most like leans towards like what they think all TVC fans want, which is just like Cantina aliens and stuff like that. Which is there are a lot of people who do want that, but there are a lot of people who want maybe other things or want both. So yeah, I don't know. That was an odd choice. Kind of fits into like, I don't know, the Star Wars universe pretty well. So I'm surprised they did not do that one. Also, apparently people like wolf alien critters. So why didn't we get that guy? I don't know. Thoughts on a new ATRT? My thoughts are we definitely need that, because in The Mandalorian, I feel like we're going to get one. They kind of didn't really hint, but kind of like we're saying with the gunship that like there's space in there for, a vehicle. And ATRT would definitely go into a gunship quite well. And it'd be pretty relevant because it's in The Mandalorian. It's in that trailer. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely want one. I think it would look quite cool. They've done some really impressive stuff with like their vehicle tooling and engineering. So getting an update to that would be great, because I actually don't have any of the older ones. It's something I've almost pulled the trigger on a couple times when it comes to like eBay, but at the same time, it's got that toy look, which we talked about a lot during like the old gunship versus the new gunship like discussions, and like yeah, seeing a new ATRT would be pretty cool. I'm definitely here for it. Noted, Findor Moon. Evan, everyone's here for it. We're gonna have to make that happen. Everyone, get your Wednesdays ready. Being hyper-focused on a subject or having a special interest in a subject is a trait of neurodivergent conditions such as autism, ADHD. I should know I have both. Noted. Noted. I'm sure all of us have a little bit of something going on. We're all just a little crazy and obsessed with plastic and fantasy worlds like Star Wars. Luthen with wig plus shop Clea plus Luthen shop diorama set similar to the Mandalorian Cantina set. Easy win. You know, that would actually kind of be cool. It sounds like kind of ridiculous of a concept. It's like, okay, here's your action playset. It's a storefront. Okay. Which is cool. Just sounds like a grown, dollhouse or something, which technically this whole thing is. But also it sounds kind of cool just because like there were all those like neat little artifacts in there. And as a world builder, I do like those kind of like weird trinkets and accessories. So that could actually be kind of interesting. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. I feel like that'd be the way they have to do it if they do that character. Also, Luthen with a wig. It sounds. First of all, he looked ridiculous to me with that wig, and then having a figure of that would be pretty funny. Depending on the direction of Ahsoka season 2, do you think we'd see a Mortis Gods 3-pack in TVC? Well, I would hope so, because the Mortis arc was one of my favorite arcs in the Clone Wars. And if this is going to be something in Ahsoka, I'm going to be so hyped. I already loved Ahsoka quite a bit. Yeah, I'm really excited to get back to that story and see where they're going. And dude, a Mortis Gods 3-pack would be super cool. So here for that. I think we would have to make some noise, and maybe we should start hitting, but we don't know yet. That's a thing. But heck, if they want to give me a Clone Wars Mortis 3-pack, I'm here for that too. Like, let's get that going. Don't remind me how close March Madness stuff is. Don't you have a lot of fun compiling all this data and getting all this stuff ready and just getting ready to go through an endless list of figures? I know you're excited. TVC has all the fun, dude. Come on. When it comes to getting a figure with multiple looks, my rule of thumb would be knocking out the appearance you see the character in the most iconic looks. Yeah, for sure. Definitely, you're going to want their standard look. That's why it was like a little bit challenging, I think, with like the Grief Karga situation, because I feel like we saw more of him screen time in that season 1 look than we did season 2. Because I think it's just the one episode where they go back to Navarro and have that whole Imperial base showdown thing. So yeah, this is another situation where they didn't give us the season 1 main look, and here we are. So yeah, totally agree with that. Definitely a good rule of thumb. Yep, definitely. I was gonna say, Findor Moon's definitely here for some High Republic characters in TVC. So yeah, see, I mean, there's demand for everything, and like I said, I'm sure you could get some tooling in there and get some of those characters. With the upcoming release of the SHF Clone Wars figures that look super animated style, how would a TVC season 7 Ahsoka look more animated? Would you have interest in TVC redos of Rebels and Clone Wars animated figures? So I would have interest in them. I don't want them to look like super animated like the old 375 line. I like the realistic interpretations. So like what they did with the Rebels, making them look more live action, if you will. The Ahsoka Mandalore figure, I feel like, is a nice balance of still looking somewhat animated, but she looks realistic. She doesn't look like, obviously, the live action Ahsoka figure, but I like that. and I just like their proportions to not look super animated. And I saw those figures, and yeah, they look cool. What spoke the most to me is because we have like an Anakin that's like now that look, but like from the flashback Ahsoka stuff. But I want an updated Padawan Tano figure. I think the one we have is garbage. It also shows that they're not opposed to doing the tube top version, which actually in this like little kit here of spare figures, I have a spare one of those tube top Ahsoka figures, which I don't know if they'll ever go back and do this one, but like this figure is not great. So I kind of wanted to like break this apart if I ever find proper parts or like 3D print them or something to give her like ball jointed hips or something. I don't know, just make her better. But yeah, I don't know. I personally am just like always here for like a good mix of like it can be somewhat animated, but I prefer the live action. Also like as I've been realizing now with like as we're moving away from the Ghost campaign, I still want them to do some of these Rebels characters. Like we need season 1 Ezra, dude. We need season 1 Hera. We need to start getting some of those figures because it's going to be a situation where it's like we're getting further away from the Ghost and be like, okay, we're focusing on Battle of Geonosis. That is cool. Great. Love that stuff. But I also don't want you to forget about some things we still need. Yeah, for real. I feel like a lot of people still scratching their head about that. Yeah. Instant buy, Mortis Gods. One of the vendors that I've bought 3D printed heads from, Scoundrel Stock, he has a great print of the father, and I almost bought it one time because I think I saw online somebody make a good custom using Bib Fortuna and then like a similar head because it's pretty much the 3D printed head and then like the I don't know chest, not armor, but like that piece. So you could just pretty much slip that over the Bib body and then give it some slightly different like soft goods or whatever and get pretty close to like the Mortis father. So yeah, man, Mortis gods would be cool. July through November. What's up, man? Good to see you here. That's usually what I do. I try to find color parts. Cool. Nice. Seems like everyone's here for that Mortis god pack. So take notes, Hasbro. I doubt you're here, but if you ever stumble across this, take notes. People apparently like the Mortis Gods 3-pack for a TVC idea. We need a re-release of the Stormtrooper 4-pack or Sandtrooper 4-pack. I feel like a Sandtrooper single or 4-pack has got to be coming. It would make sense. But yeah, I would also like to see the 4-pack just because it does offer a little bit of a price saving, you know, and in this day and age, anything you can save when it comes to army building is appreciated. Okay. Yeah. Yep. High Republic Desire. Those two dudes, they're here for it. And like I said, I'll take anything as well. Give me all the figures. Ahsoka season 2 needs live Rex trying to find her help Luke, and we need a tale of the clones for what happened to Cody. Yeah, I know. You walked away. We need to see what happened to Cody. But yeah, I'd be cool with seeing a live action Rex, man. Gosh, how old is he by then? I haven't done the math, but it'd be cool to see a live action old man Rex. I'd be here for it. Have your people call my people, and then they'll call some other people, and then we'll all figure out how we're doing some streams. I'm on it, man. I'm here for it. Moondog. Thoughts on AliExpress clones? I just ordered all the new security and Green Company troops. Yeah, I saw a bunch of people have been getting those. I have not gotten them. I have heard about like some people having concerns in terms of like the plastic and just like not being safe. I don't know. Have you had success with that? My thoughts are that they're really doing a good job with, you know, knocking out some clone variants right there. And Hasbro, as some people are saying, you're leaving money on the table, man. They should be pumping out those clones variants as well. My only thought with them is I don't like that they're using, I believe, mostly the like slip-on helmets, right? I don't think they use any of the swappables when it comes to those AliExpress, and I just don't like the look at that. I think it looks. I mean, we've moved past that personally. But in terms of like the variants and stuff like that, they're getting pretty cool. Yeah, I would really like Hasbro to stop slacking on that. But I haven't gotten any myself personally. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah, man. Those discs. An updated Padawan Ahsoka figure I would love to see in TVC. Must have for Clone Wars setups. Yeah, definitely need a proper Padawan Tano. And it's unfortunate. Like I said, it's like we have one. Would we prefer to get? Would we prefer to not have like the Rebels Ahsoka look? Like that's always the thing we have to do. It's like, would you rather have this one or would you rather have that one? It's like, dude, I'd rather have both. And then it's like, okay, I could either have the one I've never had before, or I could upgrade the one that I had that sucks. I don't know. It's tough. I want them all. I want them all. Should the Mortis gods be slightly bigger than 375? Interesting. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I would prefer them just to stay around the same size. Just because it'll be easier for tooling and stuff like that. Yeah. I wouldn't be bothered if they were the same size. Do you think modern takes on old mini rigs would sell well? IGT technically is a Kenner original come to live action, and some of the mini rigs have been shown up in Visions and comics. I think it would be cool. I think it would hit a spark of nostalgia with a lot of like older collectors who had those things. Like I have one next door. Um, Next door is like my like junk room where it's just like, all right, this is staging for stuff I'm still going through. But I have a mini rig in there, which was the one like I inherited, and it is beat up to heck. It's like pretty yellowed because I was outside in the mud playing with it all the time. But I was looking at it over there and I was like, okay, cool. This thing's all beat up. I'm probably gonna like customize it and make it something for like the display back there. But yeah, I think those things would be kind of cool. I'd be curious to see how they do them. Like, would they keep them kind of simplified still, like that mini rig vibe? Because if that's the case, they could be like not as expensive. I don't know. Like, it's not like they're super engineered or anything like that. But I don't know. Unless you want to see a more modern take on it, where they like kind of polish it up and give it a lot of greeblies and like detail, kind of like the Imperial tank transport and stuff like that. But yeah, I think they could be cool. More vehicles, more smaller things, better. I mean, they make better profit on vehicles and stuff. So I don't know. That could be something. They make a new If they make a new ATST, they should give it some stand like the slave one. Oh, so it doesn't fall over. I've had no problems with my ATST. Ever since I made that video, that Endor ATST has not fallen over. I've had no problems. I even moved it, repositioned it, and it's all good. It's all good. I think you just have to like really play with gravity with that thing and just kind of like pose it right. But I don't know. I guess we'll see if it stands the test of time. But I do think that clear stand could be something cool. I actually have the Haya Aliens Queen over there, and because of her anatomy, because she's basically all legs in the back and then like a big body going that way, it can't physically stand on its own because of gravity. So they actually give it like a clear, like stick like stand. But yeah, that could actually probably be something cool for the ATST. I've got most of the 375 AliExpress clones, and so far they all look great and have none broke on me. Okay, cool. Right on. I've been seeing a lot of people army build those, man. People are really, really going in. Cody was supposed to show up in the original Kenobi trilogy script that Stuart Beatty. Yeah, I heard about that. I saw his script and like what he was saying about it would have been pretty cool. Yeah, that would have been neat if they kind of kept like Cody in there, even if he was just like a blink and you miss it moment. I don't know. Yeah, could have been, should have been. I don't know, but I definitely still think there's a lot of stories they could do with like the clones and stuff like that. I was actually thinking about that today, just like so they finished like the Bad Batch, but technically like Cody's still out there. How does Gregor come to find Rex before like they meet up with everyone in Rebels? Like, there's so much they can still talk about. So, where's Gunji? Where are all these other characters? Like, yeah, there's still a lot of story. And like, honestly, I will watch Star Wars animations forever. Like, they can keep pumping out all that stuff, and I will take it all in. Pike Soldier and Morgan Elspeth soldiers. Yeah, man. I was thinking about that the other day too. The Corvus Scout Guards. We need those. They are definitely going to be a big hole in our collections unless they are in Ahsoka season 2 for some reason, which they could be, because I'm pretty sure they're on the ship when Thrawn gets on it. He gets on the hyperspace ring and they go back to the standard galaxy. So yeah, I would imagine we're going to see them, but we've already seen them in the Mandalorian during that Ahsoka episode. We saw them obviously in the Ahsoka show. They are in Tales of the Empire when they show Morgan's like story. Yeah, definitely one that I feel like we'll need to make some noise about, but maybe they can kit bash it from something, at least the lower legs, because they're kind of like military boots or whatever you will, and then all they need is like the plastic skirts and just the upper body. But yeah, definitely a cool figure that we need. And also the Pike Soldier, like, kind of surprised we haven't got one of those yet either, but again, must make noise. But March Madness, here we come. Put them on your list. The son and daughter needs to be a deluxe box. Would want their creature form as well. Man, now you're getting crazy with it. The creature forms too. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Would not be opposed to it, but that would definitely be one of those things where I'm like, I didn't think we would get that. Like, honestly, I didn't think we would ever get a Howler, but we did. So that could be cool. That could be cool. It's sad we gotta hope characters never change clothes and show up in 3+ shows that though we stand a chance of maybe getting them in TVC. Yeah, it's true, man. If only Ben Solo was wearing that sweater in multiple seasons or like episodes or whatever, like you would have your Ben Solo by now, dude. But no, I hear you, man. Like they're always changing those costumes, which man, Grief Karga, he needed to chill out. He changed costumes 3 times and we only have 1 out of 3 and one of them's long in the past. And yeah. Also the Bad Batch, multiple looks there. Yeah, they got to chill out with that because there's a lot of holes in our collections because of it. Is TVC getting anything for Gift of the Galaxy? I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I never expect much from any of these Gifts of the Galaxy or mini beats. I'm just kind of like expecting like a sock reveal or something like that. Everyone gets socks. That's all you get, man. I would hope so, just because we haven't seen anything other than the Padme wave, and like that's already been pre-ordered. People are starting to get it, so I'd imagine it's shipping out pretty soon, like in as mass like shipping. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty quiet. So their lack of pipelines making it very radio silent, and I would love to see something pipeline. So hopefully we'll get something else other than the Jabba's denizens being repacked or whatever. But yeah. Do you think we will get a shiny gold C3PO? I would hope so. C3PO needs to get redone. A lot of people really want a proper C3PO. I think that Vintage Collection one is awful. My go-to is the Legacy Collection Vac Metal one, but also Disney Parks makes a better protocol droid in general, just with the articulation and just overall sculpt. So at this point, man, Vintage Collection needs to just get it done and give it a slightly good paint application. I would love it to be Vac Metal. If they can figure it out, that'd be great. If they can't, if it's something similar to like, I don't know, a nice metallic that they've done in the past, like it'd be good. But yeah, C3PO needs to get done. Also, that protocol droid could lead to some other stuff like bounty hunters like Forlom and just like other stuff like that. So wouldn't be a bad one to get done. Yeah. I hope so. We'll see. We will see. Awesome, man. It was great to have you here. Again, appreciate you. Awesome dude. If you guys have never checked out his toy photography, please go check him out. Awesome. And we'll be here on the replay and the next stream, man. So thanks for stopping by. Probably gonna get out of here pretty soon too. We've been going for what, 3 hours? Dang. Time flies when you're having fun and just talking nonsense and TVC and collecting. This is Hasbro. You will take only BS reveals or Gift of the Galaxy and like it. I hope not. They when they do that sometimes, like, I don't know. It's just you gotta balance it. You know, you're just not gonna create a good collecting community in general if you're just showing off one thing for one scale, not the other, or just like, the imbalance. And it goes both ways. And yeah, you just don't want to create that kind of division. It's just not healthy for collecting, the world, anything. So yeah, hopefully it won't be like that. 3PO goes with 2 brand stories we have surround HasLabs now. Tatooine and Geonosis. Come on, Hasbro. Nah, for sure, man. For sure. Yeah, like I said, a protocol droid would lend itself to quite a bit of stuff. And you can even get some of those random protocols from Ahsoka. There were some really cool ones in there, like that Vac Metal teal design. Oh man, teal is like one of my favorite colors, so that guy would be pretty cool. There was the like red one on the shipping yards, also cool. Yeah, there's so many protocol droids you could do. So Hasbro definitely needs to get with the 3PO program. Investing in a new protocol droid. Yep. It's basically an army builder. Yes. Yeah, some Night Sisters would be cool too. The Great Mothers would be great. Obviously, they are going to be characters moving forward. We saw them already. I feel like they could be easy, like kit bashes of Morgan Elspeth tooling, just like they did for Ventress. Like those are low hanging fruit, man. Come on, Hasbro, get those Melu runs into our collection. What are you doing? Yeah, Night Sisters. Also, I really like seeing like the Night Sisters recently in the animated stuff, like Tales of the Empire. Like that was pretty cool to see that again. But yeah, even going back to like Clone Wars, we need some Night Sisters to go with our Ventress and stuff. Would be pretty cool. Still would like a tie with foldable wings. Yeah, tie Outlander. That would be pretty cool. I personally, when it comes to TIE fighters and just most mid-size, we have it before vehicles, want to see a TIE Defender. It's the TIE fighter that has not been done yet. It's in Rebels. It would go with our Ghosts because TIE Defender took on the Ghost a little bit. And yeah, I think a TIE Defender would be pretty cool. But I'm definitely not opposed to the TIE Outlander either. Hey, I heard they can use the Return of the Sith Anakin to make Qui-Gon. Is that true? I don't know, man. You tell me. Or if any of you are watching and for some reason haven't seen Mile High's rant about Jedi tunics, go over to SWTVC's YouTube and go check out that last live stream that I'm on and do a deep dive on some Jedi tunic tooling and just all the possibilities that will hopefully be coming to the vintage collection. So definitely go check that out. We need a 4-pack of the 501st clones from Umbara. Yes, and Umbaran soldiers. Umbaran troopers are always on my March Madness just because I love the Umbara arc. I think it's also one of those characters that's really weird and unique. So like the tooling is just like, if you have to rally for that one. So if you want more Umbara stuff, you're going to have to put that character on your list. They're always on my list. I'm putting them kind of mid-range, like number 5 spot, just so they get some good support. But yeah, the Umbaran Trooper, always on my list, because if we're going to get a Pon Krell one day, I'm going to need that Umbaran Trooper. And then, yeah, I would like to see some of those other, like, clones from that arc, man. Yeah. I do have a custom idea, which I was talking with some channel members before, where I got a couple extra of the E-Wing pilot, Lieutenant Callahan, because I thought that base body would lend itself pretty well to making an Umbaran Soldier Custom, and I think it's Syndicate Customs in like Australia or New Zealand. He sells a 3D printed kit for the Umbaran Trooper, and basically I think I can make a custom out of that supply. So need to get to that too, but yeah, I would love to see an official version, but collections are built on hope, as they say. I would love to finally get a Jedi Fallen Order 2-pack of Cal Kestis and Second Sister. You and me both, man. That's another one where it's like a first look for a character. Cal, don't have it. Glad we got Cal. Awesome figure, but man, would love to have his first look. And also Second Sister. We need those Inquisitors. The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, man, I can't believe we don't have any. Well, we have some, but we barely have any Inquisitors. Like, don't have Marok, don't have Second Sister, don't have Fifth Brother. Hasbro, you're slacking when it comes to these villains that we need from things, from Kenobi, from Rebels. Like, we got to get those ones checked off and done, man. Qui-Gon is a giant and needs all new tooling, though the existing tunic sculpts will work for lots of other Jedi. Yeah, Qui-Gon's a big dude, and I mean, heck, if we can get proper tooling for a proper Qui-Gon Jinn, I am here for it. We also really just need a proper Episode 1 Obi-Wan, because ours is garbage. So hopefully we'll get that too, because yeah, that lack of Phantom Menace love was kind of rough. It's kind of rough. I'd love to finish Jedi Survivor Mantis Crew too. I know you're all about that, man. I know you are. I mean, more video game figures in general would be cool. Those are definitely going to be ones that we have to like really rally for too, for sure. But yeah, I'm always here for those kooky aliens, man, and just more gaming figures in general. Nice. Same. Sci-Fi Dude knows what's up. Pong Krell. Come on, Hasbro. Where is our Pong Krell? Is it coming? Can you show it to me? I want Pong Krell. I know people hate on Pong Krell, but Umbara Arc, if you're a 501st fan and you ain't down with Umbara and Pong Krell, I don't know what's wrong with you. Yes. Yeah. It's just such a bad TVC figure we have from TVC 1.0. Just really needs an overhaul. Yep. Ninth Sister. Need that too. Oh man. Don't get us started on the Inquisitors. They're quite sad when it comes to TVC. That would be cool. It would be interesting. A video game like HasLab. I wonder. What's the gluppance of shittos that you secretly want? Oh man. Definitely Deb Nolly. Duh. I need him for my cantina. I don't know. It's got to be a Snivian. So probably use him. Put him in the barge. Put him in the Jabba's palace. I just love Snivians. So get me that little snaggletooth. Get that guy into my collection. I would back a Mantis HasLab. Nice. I would back probably any TVC HasLab just because I love the vintage collection. I'm always going to support it. Always. Yeah, Zuckuss and 4-LOM. If we get proper C-3PO tooling, we could get a better 4-LOM. Zuckuss, sure, maybe they could kit bash him from something, especially because he's just wearing like mostly that like robe type deal. But one day they will have to do proper ESB bounty hunters, because I think those are pretty important in terms of action figures, and the ones we have are okay, but they ain't great. Come on, man. You know you love him. If Tommy was here, I'd be like, Tommy, that's your favorite character, right? I'm pretty sure he's number one on your like March Madness and your Black Series Most Wanted figure list, right? I'm pretty sure. Also, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Deb Nolly is he's just a clone? You think he's just an old retired clone who's balding and sitting in the cantina? Kind of think he is. He could be a clone. Imperial Gunship? Here for it. Damn. Zuckuss is your favorite bounty hunter. Cool. I used to always think he was like really interesting looking when I was younger. And when I had that Tales of the Bounty Hunters book, oh man, I just love that book. I just love the book cover, like the art and design. I don't know. The bounty hunters were really cool to me, and yeah, Zuckuss was rad. I remember first getting that Power of the Force figure, the Power of the Force 2 one. I was just like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. But yeah, I'm here for it, man. The first Jedi, the 501st kill. I know. Brutal. Brutal. To be fair, he was a pretty big jerk, and I don't even know if he was a Jedi at that point. He was definitely teetering on the edge of not Jedi anymore. He is iconic, man. You see him sitting in the most iconic place in all of Star Wars, right there by the front door, sitting next to Tequil, another fine Snivian in the galaxy. He's a must-have. I hope he's on your top list. He probably ranks higher than Ben Solo for you. Maybe he even is related to Ben Solo somehow. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he knitted that sweater for him. How do you light your Empire walls? The ones in the back here? Those are actually backlit. So it's like halo lit. So the shelving behind me basically has LED strips on the back part of it, which then bounce off the wall and then reflect back, giving that like whole light effect. And then they're just like see-through. So it helps light that whole Imperial slotted wall design or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much all it is. And then like if I ever take like toy photography shots, I just actually have like a light puck that like shines the light directly through it or whatever. But yeah, that's how I do it back there for the collection. Ooh, favorite figure of 2025. I haven't put much thought into this, and I know as we're getting closer to the end of the year, I was gonna do like, my own like best all new figure of 2025. But I gotta tell you, it's actually kind of challenging because I think we've had some pretty decent figures this year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If I had to choose something right now, oh man, I don't know. It's really challenging. We've had some pretty good stuff this year. I mean, some of them I'm not going to put on the list, like the HasLab figures, like the Cantina figures, but those are actually pretty solid, man. Like the Tonica sisters, maybe you weren't excited for Tonica sisters or whatever, but they're really good action figures. They just came out quite well, and like you have to give Emily and like the design team quite a lot of props. They've put a lot of care and attention into some of these figures, and even with like price increases and labor costs and whatever, like Hasbro's still giving us pretty solid stuff, like quality wise. I don't know, like I said it many times, like 375 collecting's never been better, straight up. Yeah, man. Tales of the Bounty Hunter did slap. The second Death Star. Oh my god. Yeah, IG-88. It was so good. Ugh. So, man. He was ready to self-destruct. Love it. Yeah. New Delta Squid or Delta Squad? Give me both. Oh, don't you dare. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. Wouldn't that be a surprise to everyone? Oh, man. Someone needs to make that a mock-up now. VC, man, if it was only closer to like April, that would be a great April Fool's. VC 375 announced Denali. There you go. See? All the world, it's poetry, man. Imperial officers in black uniforms. Yep. We definitely need those. I'm surprised we haven't. They were really, going to town on the Imperial officer sculpt. I feel like maybe they like course corrected though, because the removable caps were like somewhat appreciated, but then also just not perfectly proportioned. So then we got Pelion recently, and he has the sculpted hat on, which I gotta say it does look much better. So maybe that's why they kind of hit the brakes on that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind the Imperial officers in black uniforms. Also, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Yeah, I'm looking at the ones right now that came with like the Lars Homestead, and they're old figures. Now, I would like them to use existing tooling because I think they could get away with that, but I think those would be cool to get updates to because, man, yeah, I can't take a photo of those because they look ridiculous. Camera is not going to hide. It's not going to hide those flaws. Let's just say that. Yeah, totally agree, man. It's been a pretty solid year. Yep, Balin, quite amazing. What other 375 Star Wars do you collect? I collect TVC, retro, and epic. Dang, man, you all in. Um, I get a little bit of retro collection, not much to be honest. I've only really gotten like the bounty hunters because I like the bounty hunters, and I've gotten like the A New Hope stuff. That's about it. I'm not like super in on that. I just for me it doesn't do it because I like fully articulated figures, but I find some nostalgia there with like the stuff that I did like get as hand-me-downs. So getting like, you know, proper versions because I didn't have everything, every single Kenner figure. I had like Chewbacca. He was in pretty good shape. I had a Gamorrean guard. I never had like a Luke or a Han, but I had Darth Vader with no cape and no lightsaber. So like, you know, getting like a version of that was kind of cool for me. But other than that, nothing else, man. It's primarily TVC. I got to save my credits for all this army building, clone building, and stormtroopers, and now Jedi. It's just never ends. How about a new ATDP from Rebels? That'd be cool, man. I've looked at the one, you know, the Rebels release because I've contemplated getting it because I thought it would look pretty cool with my like Lothal display and like my Rebels figures. And I saw someone, I can't remember who it was, but they like weathered one up and it looked pretty nice. But yeah, it still doesn't look quality because like the backside or like the inner part of the legs is like basically not finished off or whatever. But yeah, I think a new ATDP from Rebels would be pretty cool. Being over $100, but yeah, man, I'd be here for it. I'm here for anything Rebels. Rebels, one of my favorite shows. So if it's Rebels, I will take it. Man, I had taken as Morgan figure, and he's definitely probably not on the top of anyone's list, but I was still taken. I second Delta Squad. They would look fantastic with that new gunship, definitely. And I think they've pulled pretty well. Like people want Delta Squad. People just want more clones. Like I think Hasbro's finally starting to realize that, but hopefully they get to it before AliExpress. They need to make a Star Wars What If. True. Okay. Yeah, they could. Our TVC Balin at least came out right and it lacked soft goods, but the height was correct and the color of his lightsaber was accurate. Totally, man. That was one of those things where it was nice to wait a little bit more in TVC because at least they got it right. I feel like we would have been pretty angry if he wasn't the correct height. But then again, look at our Thrawn. Could be taller. Could be taller. And actually, I was thinking about that Thrawn because oh man, I'm not happy with it just because he should be taller, and I would like him to fit the physique more of the actual character we saw, not just be the repacked one that we got on the Imperial Officer sculpt. Something they could have done and would have been a little smart is to have used Count Dooku tooling, because Count Dooku is actually a pretty tall figure. And if they would have used the lower legs from Count Dooku, casted it in white plastic, I would even have let them use those same boots. It's pretty dang close. And then they just tooled up a new upper torso and popped that head on. That would have been much better. So, unfortunately, I don't know. It's just one that slipped by their radar. They just weren't thinking about it creatively and they thought about the easier solution instead. But yeah, man, I'm more bummed about the Thrawn, but definitely happy that we have a proper Balin and Shin. A new speeder bike for the gunship. Yep. I think a bark speeder could become, hopefully. I mean, the one we have is pretty dang old, so getting a proper one would be nice. And also, maybe it'd be a way we can get Keller and Beck, because Keller and Beck is definitely also a Jedi I want to see. Clone figures are expensive in America. 5 figures for $20 each. Yeah, I know, man. You don't have to tell us. We know it is not a fun time to army build, but you got to make do somehow with how you can. There's always sales. I'm always going to buy at least, couple in the beginning, but if you hold off for some sales, you can get some pretty good deals and start to build up your army. Also, hopefully they'll give us a 4-pack, which usually those are cheaper, so go at it. Tales of the Empire Throne. That would be cool, man. Yeah, that would be cool. I think I've seen a custom of that as well somewhere online. But yeah. Nice, man. Nice. Glad you were here, man. I'm probably gonna wrap it up in a minute or two. Probably read like one or two more questions. But yeah, really appreciate you stopping by, man. Always a pleasure to have you around. Always great to get on stream with you too. But yeah, man, we'll chat soon. You know what? You're right. You're right, sci-fi dude. Darth Jar Jar for the win. I hear you. I hear you. I'm from the UK. Holiday like 16.99. Okay. I'm not sure what that equates to here, but maybe more, maybe less, probably more. The one droid from Rebels, Thrawn fights them in training. Oh yeah, those are really cool. Those would be pretty awesome. I've seen somebody sell like 3D printed versions of those, or the files at least. So those would be neat. I would love to see Tails figures in TVC. Yeah, me and you both, and actually Mile High. He really wants to see a young Count Dooku, which also, man, when they got that figure recently, definitely was a little bit bummed. I shared on my story that I had made a concept for that figure in TVC ages ago when the show came out, and I showed that we could use our existing tooling and just a little bit of finessing to get that figure. So yeah, man, hopefully it's coming to TVC soon, but we'll see. We will see. But yeah, man. All right, y'all. I'm probably gonna get out of here because we've been going for a while. It's been really awesome. This was fun to like chat with everyone and just talk about stuff. I really appreciate it. Again, I really appreciate the channel getting to 8,000 subscribers. That is quite impressive, and it just shows how supportive everyone in this community is. And yeah, I can't thank any of you guys enough. Yeah, once again, I appreciate your time, support, collecting, and just talking in the chats. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and this will become something that we do much more often for sure. Sounds like we'll probably be doing it twice a month. Maybe one day it'll be more of a weekly thing. But yeah, with all that said, don't forget to smash a like on this stream, support the channel, and more importantly, keep 375 alive, and may the force be with you. Thanks, guys, and I will see you on the next one.